Hello, everybody. Welcome. This is On the Air. I am Mike Allen. Tonight, Marlon Vela returns to talk about the results of Belts of Honorious. Had a great event this Saturday. A lot of people came out. Great fights. 11 fights on the bout. We'll go through every one of them. It was a night to be had. August 8th will be the next date. Stay tuned here. As soon as TDLR approves it, we'll get ticket information out. And you can come take in some great MMA fights. Then, the return of Heather, Things That Go Bumpous in the Night. As she comes back and rejoins us here on the Air crew to talk about all things paranormal and weird. Then we get in bed with Dani Blaze. Tonight's topic, was it the modern woman or modern independent woman? The modern independent woman. So we'll be talking to Dani Blaze about that. Plus your phone calls. And Joe Ellen, live in studio, helping me out, keeping me straight. Stick around. I'm Mike Allen. This is Armed Radio Global Network. And you are on the air. Ever have a computer issue that you can't figure out? Is your computer running slow, locking up, or giving you the blue screen of death? Now you have a store that not only can diagnose your rig, but if needed, upgrade that tired old workhorse. Centex Computers in Hutto is equipped not only to fix your computer, but give you an honest analysis of what needs to be fixed. Let's face it, your home computer is not only convenient, it's essential for your home or your office to stay in touch in this new virtual world. Now you have a place to take your computer for honest and reliable service. Visit www.centexcomputers.com for locations and times. Centex Computers Hutto is the official computer experts for On the Air with Mike Allen.
Armed Radio Global presents its new 2015 Talk at Night lineup.
Mondays 8 p.m. Eastern, Spot On with Lino and Tom.
Straight Talk with Matt Hazley. Mondays and Fridays 10 p.m. Eastern.
On Tuesdays, Talk Time with Val 8 p.m. Eastern, followed by High Five at 10 p.m. Eastern with Johnny and Mikey.
Wednesdays On the Air with Mike Allen 10 p.m. EST, and Thursdays Night Talk with Joe Rocks 10 p.m. Eastern.
Join the talk now on Ustream TV. Replays on Spreaker, exclusively on Armed Radio Global.
Hey everybody, Heather Bumpous here. Join me every Wednesday night as we explore ghosts, spirits, and all the things that go bump in the night. Like my page, OTA Paranormal on Facebook, and follow me on Twitter at HBumpus, #ArmRadio. Listen On the Air with Mike Allen every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on Arm Radio Global.
Route 106 Motors is the home of fine pre-owned vehicles. Experience a no-pressure sale with a family-friendly atmosphere. Route 106 Motors has been practicing the same simple philosophy of low prices for over a decade, and it has brought us great success. Recently, while other dealers are closing their doors, Route 106 Motors is expanding. We are a wholesale dealer, and we own the property and pay cash for all the vehicles. This allows us to sell to the consumer for a lot less than the average dealership. We are a high-volume, small-profit dealer, and we pass the savings on to you. New changes have been made at Route 106 Motors. Stop by and check out our brand new building. Route 106 Motors, located at 569 West Street. Check our website at route106motors.com and be sure to like us on Facebook to find out about all the latest deals and savings opportunities. route106motors.com.
Are you ready to take your webpage to the next level? Go to icegram.com and download for free all the tools you will need to enhance your webpage content for potential customers, clients, or fans. Capture leads, call your audience to action, skyrocket conversation and engagement with action bars, pop-ups, toast notifications, message boxes, overlays, and sidebars. Head on over to icegram.com for your free download. That's icegram.com. Bottom line, you'll love it. All right, welcome back, folks. Tonight's broadcast brought to you by Eat24.com. Put the app on your phone. It's free. iTunes or Google Play. And you may then open up the app, find a restaurant near you that delivers food to you. Clutter on my desk. It's just like man cave stuff here.
Oh.
What'd you say?
This is.
I have no idea where that is. I have no idea what happens when I'm not around. When I ain't looking.
This is a nail clipper.
Yes, it's a nail clipper.
I don't think this belongs in here.
Yeah, it is. This is my nail clipper. The one's right there.
Okay.
Eat24.com, proud sponsor of Armed Radio Global. Well, we had us a happening this weekend down at the Austin Skate Park down in South Austin, and it was the Belts of Honorious. 11 matches, and it was amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Come on.
It started out with 13, right?
Started out with 25.
Oh, my
Ended
gosh.
up with 11. And that's normal. That's normal. Because things happen, people are sick, fighters drop out. They just, at the last minute, they decide they're not ready, so they drop out. So you start with like 25, and by the time you get everything approved and through the state, you end up with about 9 or 10, and that's about right. It's like sales. Make 100 calls, sit down 50 times, talk to 10 people, make two sales. It's all numbers.
Yeah, which is why I'm not in sales.
Especially amateur.
So, I was curious. Did you have 25 weigh-ins on Friday night? Or
no, we had 11 weigh-ins. Is what we ended up with.
So by Friday night, before the weigh-ins, you kind of know how many you've got that for the next night, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
There it is. And we are going to get on the Ring Central Celebrity Hotline, the promoter of Belts of Honorious, who was there with me. And we're going to talk about the results of some of the fights. His name is Marlon Vela. He took over the promoting duties in partnership with Niall Chavez, who originated Belts of Honorious. It is a pure amateur MMA fights, and no pro-am yet, but we're working on that. Please welcome to the show on the Ring Central Celebrity Hotline, Marlon Vela. How you doing, sir?
How are you?
Man, I'm doing fantastic. What a weekend.
Yes, it was quite a weekend.
I mean, of all the little... as far as the people there knew, everything looked like we knew what we were doing.
Right, but they don't know behind the scenes.
They don't know behind the scenes, man. But I tell you, we had some great fights. What a great card, even with all the unknowns. And it started right out the gate with Levi Milholland and Lauren Washington. And you know it's a good fight. You know you've matched well. And a lot of people don't agree with me on this. But I think you know you've matched well when it goes to a decision. Because that means the fighters are both technically and physically and knowledge-wise, they're very evenly matched. They're counter-moving each other. They're playing the chess game, and neither one of them is giving the other one an opportunity for a knockout.
And you know what? That's the great thing about it. You know, the guys were motivated, and I think at the end, when they found out that we're about to go, you know, like 5 minutes before, I think it got more intense right off the bat, and I think the guys were ready to go. You know.
I mean, it was a great fight, and it came down to a split decision. Levi Milholland winning two of the judges, 29-28, and Lauren taking another judge, 29-28. So that right out the gate, great close match. I like those.
And Levi wanted to know what he had. I think he was, I think they were all had the jitters going in. But I really do believe that when they stepped in there, it changed. It changed completely because, there's a guy that then praised a lot, Laura Washington, praised a lot for his skills with a lot of the fighters. With a lot of fighters here in the Dallas area, with SFS MMA. And, Toby Amata, one of the coaches at Eastside Austin Elite, gave me Levi. And several others that you just unfortunately couldn't. We had them matched up, but things happened in the cards, with other fighters. But Levi stayed, thank God. And when that fight happened, I could see right there they were evenly matched. I saw that, and they both they both fought hard, and it was a very good fight. And I think getting the first one out for Lord, I know Lord, even though Washington lost, he still feels relieved that he finally got the first one after 3 years. Like I said before, I tried to match him up many times, many other promotions, and finally he got a match, and he fought and he made it happen. He was excited, so he's looking forward to the future. He's already asking me when there's going to be the next card in Dallas, so that's a good thing.
That is a good thing. When a fighter's hungry like that, then you got a good fighter. The second one out the gate, Charles Spencer and Dominic Peterson. This one ended in the first round, 1 minute and 11 seconds into the first round. Dominic Peterson put a submission hold on Charles, and I think it was rear naked choke, if I remember correctly. I didn't write it down.
Yeah.
But that ended. And then the third one.
Go ahead.
And then the third one, another decision. And another close one, too.
Right.
And that was a great fight.
We're talking Steve Cordell Jr., right, versus Eric Montejano?
Cordell Jr. and Eric Montejano. It ended up being Steve's final fight. I mean, the guy's 36, 37 years old, in with these young kids, and he hung right in there with them. 29-28, that's close. I mean, one move either way, and he could have won any one of those three. And it wasn't an overpowering domination by either side.
Was it the last fight of his...
It was submission could have taken it out, too. I really believe that submission... I think Cordell, like I said before in previous, interviews, Cordell has jiu-jitsu could finish someone really quick. I've seen Cordell get really, just a lot of striking to his face, and you could see the lumps and everything after a fight. I remember one time, I think he doesn't remember this, but I remember one time I went up to him and said, "Hey, man, you doing okay?" He said, "Yeah, man." And he goes, and I said to him, he said, good luck on the next one. He said, "Yeah, man, I will, but I won." It sounds like you think I lost. And I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, I won." and I remember I just turned my back, and the guy was just piecing him up. And then, one mistake, his jiu-jitsu's so good that he could tap someone out. It's just unfortunately, he couldn't get this kid that was hungry and came out like fire, man. He pushing him. So,
and he hung right there with it a couple of times. He had Montejano made a couple of mistakes, and Steve just couldn't capitalize on him. Really, when it came right down to it, just could not capitalize on him. So, but then Steve at the end surprised everybody, his fans. He had a great amount of fans there. He just he called it. He said, "I'm done. I'm done with all this." The guy's like, "Well, dude, you're almost 40, so."
So no one knew that this was going to be his last fight.
You know what? In the end, Steve thought about it very clearly, and it was tough. He really fought hard. He had a kid that was hungry. He understands the age limit.
Well, Joe Ellen had
opportunities.
Joe Ellen had a question. Joe Ellen's my co-host. Go ahead, Joe Ellen.
So none of his fans knew. Hi, Marlon. How are you?
Hi, I'm good.
Good. So none of his fans knew that this was his last fight.
No.
No one did.
I think looking back, I think this was his last fight, whether he would have won or lost. I think he was ready. I think he was ready. He would have rather won it, but I think looking back and just his demeanor, it was almost like a weight was off his shoulders, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm done. I'm done with all this nonsense." But a great competitor, great warrior, man, and he went out with a bang. I mean, he went out and he was not going to give up. So, my hat's off to Steve. It was a great fight.
It was a great fight. That kid Montejano came without a doubt with just fire. Let's go. I don't care. Let's fight. fight. And I was telling one of the media people there, this kid is smiling. he's smiling, just keeps coming at him, looking at Steve in a certain way, like it's just crazy. And, you know, it's just like, wow, you know, the kid just doesn't care. Let's go. And then in the end, when you interviewed him, he said it. I'm just another kid from the hood.
Yep.
You know, he's had rough times, and all that comes out in the fight. Not only emotions, but the passion to go somewhere. Yeah. And you heard him. No matter what you're at, what situation you're in, you could always make it. And
that was his mom. Was this the one where that was his mom's first fight that she's ever been to? Is that this one?
I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't remember that one. No.
I'm not going to say.
I'm not sure if it was Tejano or not.
Yeah. But he's going to go
places. He didn't bring no one. I thought it was just him and his coach.
Yeah, he brought a crowd, man. He had a nice crowd there. The next one up was a TKO by one of my favorite fighters, Sean the Wildman Clemens. First time, I think it was Belts of Honorious. The first fight I ever saw him fight, he lost, and you could tell. Some fighters are disappointed. They're dragging their feet. They're walking out. They're upset. They're embarrassed. Sean has this look, and he lost. And the only thing I could kind of see in his face, the only thing he's thinking about is, man, I got to get back in the gym. Mm. This isn't going to happen. This isn't going to happen again. And he tapped Steve Ward out. I mean, he got. It was not pretty. He was all over Steve from the bell. I mean, as soon as the bell rang, Sean had him.
So he's been back in the gym.
Oh yeah. Well, he's won some since then. This is like almost 2 years ago, one of the first Belts of Honorious when I saw him fight, and he's won some since then. I think he's got a winning record in MMA right now. But he's built like an MMA fighter, looks like an MMA fighter. He's got that killer instinct.
So what's an MMA fighter build? Like what makes that
it's
a build?
Lean, kind of like a wrestler. I don't know. How do you explain that?
Well, I think an MMA fighter is all kinds of body types. You know, I've seen guys like, for instance, Joshua Estrie, tall and lanky. Desmond Moore, tall and lanky, that you might see and think they're basketball players of some sort. And in reality, they could be great strikers at jiu-jitsu. So I really don't know what MMA fighters built of, how they're built in that physical form. But I do know that they are guys that really work hard at their trade in order to get better. And, you know, he looks like a bodybuilder, to be honest, Sean Clemens. He does. When I saw him, I was like, wow, this guy is pretty bigger than I thought. You know, he has big biceps, he's bulked, and most of all the Gravity Fight Club members that were fighting that night were pretty good in shape.
I think
they knew what they were doing.
Yeah, I think if you put all the Gravity Fight Club fighters together and combined all of their body fat, it wouldn't equal 1/3 of mine.
So you're not built like an MMA fighter.
I'm not built.
Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not built. Okay. I'm built like a.
That was my next question.
I'm built like a professional pizza eater, actually.
That reminds me. I have a pizza eating present for you.
Did you make the pizza?
I actually have a pizza eating present
Mike
for you.
Mike and I are farmers.
That's right. Well, hey, go ahead and mute up. We're going to play some commercials, come back and talk about the rest of the card on the Ring Central Celebrity Hotline. Marlon Vela of Belts of Honorious. Stick around, and we'll be back with more. I'm Mike Allen. This is the Armed Radio Global Network, and you are on the air.
Is your wife wicked hot? Or is she just cold? Do you just want to take a hot shower? Call Savino Mechanical for all your heating, hot water, and cooling needs. Savino Mechanical has been servicing Greater Boston and Southern New Hampshire for over a quarter century. Quality 24-hour service, reasonable rates, satisfaction guaranteed, licensed and insured. And remember, at Savino Mechanical, we are not comfortable until you are. Call Savino Mechanical today at 1-855-624-4280. That's 1-855-624-4280. Savino Mechanical.
Hi, now I know you hear Joe Rocks on their weekly restaurant reviews on Night Talk, 10 p.m. Eastern. And boy, these two like to eat. Right, boys? Well, here's something to review right from your house. Eat24. That's right, eat24.com, with over 25,000 restaurants for you to choose from when you're hungry, many in your area. So review that, boys. Eat24.com. Click, order, and eat. eat24.com.
Hey everybody, Heather Bumpous here. Join me every Wednesday night as we explore ghosts, spirits, and all the things that go bump in the night. Like my page, OTA Paranormal on Facebook, and follow me on Twitter at HBumpus, #ArmRadio. Listen on the air with Mike Allen every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on Arm Radio Global.
Night Talk with Joe Rocks, 10 p.m. Eastern, Thursdays, is now on Ustream TV. Spreaker for replays and live. On Live 365, exclusively on Armed Radio Global.
All right, welcome back to the show. Tonight's broadcast brought to you by Eat24.com. Put the app in your phone, download it from iTunes or Google Play, put the zip code in of the area you're in. They'll find a restaurant for you to bring food to you. Pay, click, order, eat. No, I can't use that because that's Jimmy John's. But put put your information in there, order it, pay for it, have them deliver it to you. Eat24.com, proud sponsor of Armed Radio Global. Man, just all over the place. I'm just excited. I don't know why I'm excited. I have no idea. Welcome back on the Ring Central Celebrity Hotline, Marlon Vela, and I've gotten your name right 3 times now. I'm keeping count.
Thank you.
All right, the fourth fight actually made it into the second round, and these were 2 guys. This is their first fight each, Devin the Machine Miller and Herman Nolasco. Made it all the way to the second round, 2 minutes and 55 seconds by a TKO. That was both their debut, and that was a pretty good fight. And it came down to the fact of 2 young fighters, and it was whoever was going to make the mistake first. And Herman made the mistake first, and that was just another great matchup, in my opinion.
Well, it was, Herman was a kid that we need to know where we got and what was he going to do. I think his kicks were not bad and trying to do what he can, but Devin Miller is just, he's just a workhorse, man. He trains hard with former fighters, Evan Cutts and Johnny Bedford. He trains with jiu-jitsu Brandon Quick. So he has a very good team behind him. He has a big fan base here in Dallas that travel. I think after he won, someone said it was worth driving over here 3 hours to see you win. It's just they know this kid since he was little. He went up there. He did what he needed to do. He improved. That's why we selected him as an upcoming, fighter of the night. We selected 2. He was one of them. And this kid is just good, man. He really is. And Herman, hats off to him. I mean, for him to step in and to fight, knowing who he was, who he was fighting, I appreciate him. As a promoter, it's not always pretty to see someone get hurt or anything like that. But I know that he was a good fight, tried to be a good fight, and I know Devin dominated it.
Yeah, he did. He dominated, and again, 2 first-time fighters, and I think they'll be back, both of them. And then the surprise of the night. This one surprised me because I recommended this fighter to you, and I was very, very. I mean, this was so. I was crazy. It's like it's a total different kid. He's young. But Dylan Estes came out there serious, focused, and I think Joshua Easley decided that this might have been too easy of a fight. I don't think he trained to get past the first round because, I mean, his just whole body gave out. I mean, I'm like, he just fell down. I have never seen that.
Wasn't there. Yeah.
I have never, ever seen that. And Josh is a friend of mine. And
right.
I mean, I don't hate the kid. I don't have. I'm trying to be as nice as I can, but dude, when you're fighting and you just lay down, I mean, the referee looked at
physically lay down.
And yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, his body. You know how when you work out and you physically get to the point where your body just runs out of energy.
Yeah, that's how I get before I get to the front door.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know exactly
you
how
and me
that
both.
looks like. Yes.
But he got. I mean, his last fight that he won lasted all of a minute and 20 seconds. I mean, he knocked the guy out. So, yeah, he was paired up against a debut fighter, a kid by the name of Dylan Estes. He's from Gatesville, Texas, out of Clutch MMA. And Dylan, I could just tell by the body language. I first had concern when I was introducing him, and it's almost like Josh felt he was bored by it all. He's like, let's just get this done. And he went after Dylan with the same he went after him like he went after the last kid he fought and went in there striking and hitting hard, and he just burned himself out in that first round. In the second round, he came out, and he was rubber.
He was
rubber.
And on top of that, in the cage, when he brought him to the cage, when Dylan, I think in the first round, they went to the cage, and Dylan was on top, he kept hitting massive punches to the rib and to the liver area, to the stomach, to the body area. And I think, I come from a boxing background, and I'm a big fan of boxing, and you teach guys to let them know that when you break down the body, in order to get a knockout to finish him. I mean, he was doing that. He kept going to the body over and over. And it's hard to do that in MMA, but he was able to do that in the ground and notice that. And most guys don't do that. Most guys are trying to transition into something, but he was pummeling the body. And I think that's one of the reasons why in the first round he got so tired. Not only because of that, but I think it was his own enemy. I think Joshua, the conditioning part.
Yeah, definitely conditioning. Because he went to grab. What finally did it is he went to. I saw what he was trying to do. He was trying to lock up and actually get a takedown, and his body just gave out, and he just flopped down to the ground, and he just fell backwards. And that's when, Dylan kind of stood there for a second, and then Dylan looked at the ref, and the ref looked at Dylan and was like, "All right, we're done."
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And Dylan was about to punch him more.
Yeah, he was about to jump on him.
Relentless with his just pushing, and I think he was about to punch him, and he looked at the ref just gave the hand across the body.
Yeah, we're done. Well, good thing that this was Dylan's debut, and he had a little more experience, because any experienced MMA fighter knows when you see your opponent like that, you go. You attack. You go until that referee pulls off. And he really probably could have hurt Josh pretty bad. So his inexperience kind of helped Josh get out of a bad situation.
Well, so did you say that Josh is typically gets people out in the first round?
Well, he's had 5 fights now. He was 1-3 coming into this fight. The first fight he got, I think it was a submission. It was a Chasm Elite. His second 2 fights came down to decision. So he was progressively getting better.
So he's going the distance.
The second fight, he went 3 rounds, and it was a unanimous decision. The third fight, he went 3 rounds. It was a split decision. So he was progressively getting better. His fourth fight, the last fight I saw him in, the one that the tape I sent to you, Marlon, it's like, hey, book this kid. He's on his ride. He's on his way up. He went up against a guy that physically, to look at the fight before the fight started, you would have thought Josh would have he was going to die.
Oh.
Because this kid and the other kid was just built like a brick shithouse. And Josh is this big, lanky, tall, kind of pasty white guy. And that's it. He's young. He's young. Yeah. So he hasn't gotten to the point where the testosterone and gotten it. Well, he just got the definition. Plus, he's got to get in the gym a little bit more.
Yeah.
And Josh, a minute and 27 seconds, he knocked him out.
Well, you said that, and I was wondering if he just wasn't used to go.
That's the video that I use to send to promoters to hire me as a ring announcer, is that fight.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah.
That's cool. I'd love to see that. Well, I just thought maybe he just wasn't used to going, he wasn't training for the distance, but it sounds like if he's done,
he
has
to
go
before.
Through
I don't think he did this time.
Yeah, apparently he didn't. He probably,
or he didn't eat, or maybe he didn't eat right. I don't know.
Maybe he thought, well, okay, I've got this. I can get this done in the first round from now on. I'll just get it over with.
Yeah, something.
So I don't need to train for 3.
But that was a mistake. That's a mistake any fighter can make. Either your debut or not a debut. Because you could be a debut and just train for 8 months, but you could be a beast at one certain criteria. Either they're boxing, they're striking, or whatever. And let's say he's a boxer. He's real good at boxing, right? But he's also very good at defense. If Joshua actually was a guy that was doing jiu-jitsu and he was just good at, defense and defending it, that's all you need. and he's real confident in his striking, that could hurt another guy. You know, and just like Montejano versus Steve Cordell. Steve Cordell has great, I think, good jiu-jitsu for the amateur MMA. And the striking is obviously needs to get better. I think that's improvement. Everyone needs to improve. Montejano just came in with so much fire. And in the end, he could have submitted him. He could have ended it. And the opportunities sometimes are there, sometimes they slip. It's just the way the game is. In this case, Joshua really, I hope he didn't underestimate Dylan. I think Dylan just came in like,
I'll let you know.
I'm the underdog.
I think he did. I think he did. I think you
think he did? Okay. Yeah, and you know him better. And,
I think he did.
I hope he didn't in any way, but
I hope he learns the lesson and bounces back. That's all you can do, right? Learn the lesson and bounce back and get back in the game.
Well, that's the thing about amateur. Yeah, amateur. It's amateur. You learn your woes and your defeats and your problems and issues here at this level, so you could grow as a professional. If that's what you want to do.
Get back at it.
You know, because having a record of that record. At a professional is not very good, you know, because it's pro. It's no level after that.
Yeah. Well, once you start pro,
it's better to go through those issues.
Once you go pro, you start over. Talking to Marlon,
right, there you go.
Talking to Marlon Vela of Belts of Honorious, along with Joe Ellen, my co-host, going on to the 6th bout of the night, which is another debut. Ivan the Terrible Cesar Garcia against Joseph the Carnivore Carnivas, which I think is the coolest name right now. Carnivas took it in 1 minute and 56 seconds. I think it was a submission. I didn't circle on my card, but that was a submission. Then the next fight, I'm trying to get to the fight of the night, man, because I have something very special to say. I've got something important to say about that. 9th bout, Brandon Little and Manuel Correll. Now roll the R's on that.
That was a good striking match.
Good striking match. It was a unanimous decision, but the judges, Perry Hillen had him 30-27, and Belinda Medellin and Anthony Townsend 29-28 for Brendan Little, and that was a good fight. That was another decision. I love decisions because I get to hold the audience in anticipation.
Because it's all about you.
It is. At that moment, it is. I mean, I don't do much. And that's the little joy that I get. Then Kyle the Lion, Neal, and Matt Pena, another couple. This was the 8th bout of the night, and Kyle took him out in the first round, 1 minute and 44 seconds by TKO. And that was another. I mean, we're going to see a lot of Kyle Neal, I believe, out of Austin, Texas.
I wanted him for August the 8th. Unfortunately, he's being smart. He wants to look over stuff and get better.
Absolutely. So well, these are all young.
That's a good thing, yeah.
Yeah, all these guys were like in their 19, 20 years old. So we're going to have a lot of time with them, and hopefully we can get them booked back in and get them matched up again. But now this was the fight. And I've got something that I was actually contacted by one of the fighters here, and I want to address that. And Desmond Moore and Waylon Brunstrup. This was the most anticipated fight of the night. I mean, there were 500-plus people there, I think, and 499 of them all were waiting for this fight. Because this was the first time these two met were exactly 1 year ago, Belts of Honorious and Nutty Brown. And Desmond Moore defeated Waylon by a armbar. And the thing about Waylon is he's so double-jointed that I don't think you can get him in an armbar. I think it's physically impossible. So when they stopped the fight and gave the win to Desmond, Waylon, even on the video I'm watching, he's like, "What are you doing? I'm okay. Why'd you stop the fight?" So from that, a lot of trash talking happened, and it was pretty much Desmond Moore the whole time. He's a really good technical fighter. He's patient. He waits for openings. Waylon was working on pure adrenaline, and he is also a very good fighter. But I think he was, more emotionally driven in this fight, if I can say that. But I have something to address. Desmond, we had this live on TV. Or live on KMAX Sports. I got to mention them. and they had me in as a color analyst, and I had heard a lot about this fight, and I want to right now say that Desmond contacted me in private message and pointed out some things that I talked about that were in error, and he called me on it. And I want to address it. He did it privately to me, but I'm going to address this publicly. I went and reviewed the information. I reviewed the rules as the official rules, and I would like to personally say to the KMAC viewers and to you, Marlon, and to Desmond, that I was wrong. And what had happened, and I'm not making any excuses, I take full responsibility for it. In the heat of the moment, I wanted to build this fight up as an entertainer and as an analyst and as a color analyst. You want to build that. You want to build that energy around it. And I had heard a lot of things that I did not take the time, or I did not have the time to vet out for accuracy, and I should have, or I shouldn't have used this, or I shouldn't have used the information. And Desmond called me on it, and rightly so. And I want to thank him for that. It's going to make me a little better analyst because it's a hard lesson to learn. It's very humbling. And so to Desmond Moore, to his group, Gravity Fight Club, and all the fighters and coaches, and to him personally, I just want to apologize publicly for those inaccuracies, and I will work very hard to make sure that never happens again. It was a great fight, two great competitors, a lot of emotion in here, and it didn't need to be added to, and I thought, I used information that I should have went back and confirmed as being accurate, and it wasn't.
Right.
So for that, I apologize, and I hope he accepts my apology, and this is a learning experience. It's kind of like I got TKO'd. I got to get back to the gym.
You TKO'd yourself.
Yeah, TKO'd myself. Yeah. Well, and I should know better. I should know better than that. But in the heat of the moment, I wanted to use all the information that was given to me, and one of it was a rule about up kicking, where you can kick to the opponent's face if your opponent is standing up. You can't kick to his face when he's on his knees or if he's on the ground.
No, so on the ground. You can't do soccer kicks or his knee down. No.
So correct. I went and reviewed the rules, and I did my homework, which I should have done before the fight, and I didn't. So, and then there was, and I rewatched the fight, and just from listening to the people talking about it, I was in error that the first fight of theirs was stopped because of low blows and stuff like that, and it wasn't. So. I have no defense for that. It was something that I should have went back and reviewed so I can use that information to enhance the fight properly, and I didn't do that. So I will do that in the future. So Desmond, thank you very much for calling me out on that, son. When I'm wrong, I'm wrong. That's what a man does. Man doesn't shy away from that. So it was uncomfortable to do just that just now, and
you did it beautifully.
Well, thank you.
Well, you did. I think you did.
But Desmond's got a big future ahead of you, and I hope to see him in the cage again. He's a fierce competitor. But that was a great fight, and Desmond got
it was a great fight, and Desmond was very patient, very humble about everything. Did not let nothing get into emotion, nothing like that. Again, he just wanted to shut up the critics. Yep. And just make the peace by aggression. In other words, by the inside the ring, inside the cage, and I think he did that. And that night, it was intense when when Waylon walked in the cage, and then Desmond walked in, and it was intense. He jumped up on top of the way high, great vertical, and then he came down on the canvas, and he said, he just looked at Waylon. And the deal is that it was an intense fight from the beginning. I think everybody was really looking forward to this, and it went 3 rounds, and that's the one thing that I was excited about, because at first we thought that there was going to be some sort of submission or some sort of knockout.
Well, I did make this observation. Fight. I made this observation sitting as a color analyst for KMAC. and I made this observation early in the fight, and I told my co-host, there will be no tap-outs. Nobody is tapping out of this fight. Nobody. They will pass out. You will have to carry them out of this cage. That's how intense it was. I mean, no one's tapping out. I'm going to tell you right now.
He had him in a position to tap out off an armbar. And the way he does it is so sneaky. The way he does his submissions.
Well, he had.
He didn't tap out.
He had an armbar, but you can. I don't think you can really get Waylon in an armbar because that guy's double jointed, man. It's freaky. But then he had him. He had him in a rear naked choke, and I said, well, boys, like he's gonna tap out, and I said, I'll tell you this right now, nobody is tapping out of this. I don't care if he passes out. He's gonna have to pass out. Either both of them, and if Waylon would have got Desmond into a choke or something like that, there's no tapping out. That's what made this fight so great. There was no quarter given, zero Fs were given. They're going to go, and somebody is going to get knocked out, or they're going to. I'm surprised it went to a decision. To be quite honest with you, I thought it was going to be a knockout or a submission where the guy was passed out. That's how intense it was. And that is accurate. That I know to be true. But that was a great fight. And again, Desmond, I hope you were listening, and hope to see you again. Was this the rematch? Was this was the rematch. That's the big rematch.
That you talked about last week that I've been waiting to find out about.
That was a great.
So
So unanimous decision. Desmond Moore. All three judges found it 30-27, and he was in control. He was in control the whole fight.
And he was the one who won last time.
He was the one who won last time by submission on an armbar that does the
double jointed armbar.
The double jointed and Waylon. Well, I'm telling you, I don't think you can get him in an armbar. I don't. I mean, he showed me. He could bend his arm damn near back and touch.
It was like a triangle armbar that he had on Waylon last time, man. He claimed that he was fine, and he could have been very fine. I mean, I don't know what exactly. What both fighters felt or what the referee was thinking at that moment. But, it happened. But this one, there was no question about no controversy at all.
No.
It was none of that. It was very clear who had control of the fight.
Yeah, through the whole fight.
The striking and everything. And Waylon, I went up to Waylon and I said, let's make peace, brother. Let's make peace. And he said, yes, sir. Yes, sir. He just... you don't have to talk to him. You don't have to like him. You don't have to hug him or anything like that. But, making peace, he understood that. And he wanted to take it. That's on him. But Waylon was very, very humble and genuine about it when I told him that. And he was like, yes, sir, yes, sir. I told him twice. I wasn't sure if he heard me the first time, but the second time he did.
Yeah.
And Desmond was excited. And he was just excited to get back in the cage and to do something. And the reality, that team is very good, the Reality Fight Club, and they're trained very well. And,
well, they're 4-0.
And they're all big brothers together. Yeah, they went 4-0, but they're all very united. They're united too. They joke around with each other, but they're united.
Yeah.
And they respect each other.
Now,
and a guy like Desmond that's not a very great promoting type guy, and he did go ahead and promote himself, market himself on social media, on Facebook primarily, but he also helped Joe a little, promoting himself, saying, hey, we're going to fight. At the time, Peyton was going to fight too. It was just promoting, sharing pages, and I appreciate that from a guy that really doesn't do that.
Yep.
But the kid was humble about it. He was happy. His family was happy. His mother walked out with his dad.
Was there.
We did a thing we did a thing where fathers come out with their sons or their children. The fighters come out with their children, or their father for a Father's Day weekend. But I think Waylon came out. He showed out. I would love to have these guys back. As of right now, I'm waiting on word on that to have them back for August the 8th. Obviously, other promotions want those guys as well.
Oh, absolutely.
That's a commodity, right? But hey, like I said, hey, work with me. Work with me. I will work with you. I think they were very pleased to see what I did when it comes to the fight card and everything. They were professionalism. Got a great message from Ryan Larson on that. So that means a lot to me, but it's their decision on what they want to do. Yeah. And if it doesn't happen, oh well, I understand. There's nothing big about it. But I do know that what I did was for them to at least think, this guy is pretty outstanding guy. I want to we want to fight for him again, and that's what I want.
Good deal. We're talking to Marlon Vela of Belts of Honorious. He's partnered up with Nal Chavez. We're looking at August 8th. We had one more fight of the night. The main event, William Boone Blair and Jonathan the Lion Leal. And, both these fighters have experience. I think, what do you say? Williams 4-7, 5-1. Yeah,
he was 4-1 coming in. He's 5-1 now, and then 4-5 was John Leal.
Yep, 219 in the first round by an armbar submission, and Boone Blair went away with the win. And what a great night of fights, Marlon. Thanks for coming on. We have run out of time.
Yes, understood.
But we'll be back again August 8th, Marlon. I'll be getting with you real soon here, and we'll work out what we talked about earlier.
Yes.
And take care, my friend.
One more. Can I say one more?
Yeah, one more thing.
30 seconds at least.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yes. Anyone that listens to this broadcast, definitely thank you so much for all the fighters coming in. Thank you, Mike, for being part of this and helping us out with K-Max as well. A lot of changes will be made to get better, to improve, in order for the fighters to become their best and to put them in the best position to become their best. My goal is to become one of the best promoters in this side of Texas, and definitely bringing shows to Dallas as well. But August 8th is there pending TDLR approval. I have 14 fights right now. I want more. I want the best fighters out there. San Antonio's coming in, showing love. I got Dallas coming in. I got Austin. But I need more guys to step up to who wants to fight, who wants to perform, who wants to show out and be ranked. And I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Good deal. Thank you very much. Marlon Vela on the Ring Central Celebrity Hotline. Belts of Honorious, August 8th, TDLR approval. Like them on Facebook. Get all the information. Show up, buy a ticket, sit down, and be entertained. Marlon, we'll talk to you soon.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Bye.
All right, coming up here in a little bit, the return of our own Heather. Things that go bumpus in the night at the top of the hour. Next, we're going to have a very short segment coming up next. But before we go, we had, the Armed Radio Global Man Cave is located in a town in Texas called Hutto, and you can find it on your maps. It's northeast of Austin, a very small community. When I moved here in 1999, 2000, it had 5 police officers, chief, a sergeant, and 3 officers, and 2 cars. They hot-seated 2 cars. There's about 1,500 people here. The town has grown. We're up around 19,000 people now, but our police department only has 20 officers in it, 23 sworn officers until 10 o'clock this morning when Sergeant Chris Kelly, while on an assignment to apprehend someone who they were trying to take into custody, was killed in the line of duty. He was an officer here at Hutto for 7 years. He was a sergeant over investigations, and he leaves behind a wife and 2 kids. And I cannot tell you how saddened I am by this. I used to be a police officer. I know most of the police officers in Hutto. I have met Sergeant Kelly. I didn't know him as a friend, or I didn't know him personally, but I've seen him around at football games, and he was a part of the community and a part of the police force. And I would just like to say on behalf of the crew here at On the Air with Mike Allen and Armed Radio Global, our sincerest condolences go out to his family, to the officers, men and women at the Hutto Police Department, and, of course, his fellow City of Hutto employees. So before we go on the break, lo, there do I see my father. Lo, there do I see my mother, my sisters, and my brothers. Lo, there do I see the line of my people back to the beginning. Lo, they do call me. They bid me take my place among them in the halls of Valhalla, where the brave may live forever. God bless you, Sarge. Safe journeys. and we'll be back. Ever have a computer issue that you can't figure out? Is your computer running slow, locking up, or giving you the blue screen of death? Now you have a store that not only can diagnose your rig, but if needed, upgrade that tired old workhorse. Centex Computers in Hutto is equipped not only to fix your computer, but give you an honest analysis of what needs to be fixed. Let's face it, your home computer is not only convenient, it's essential for your home or your office to stay in touch in this new virtual world. Now you have a place to take your computer for honest and reliable service. Visit www.centexcomputers.com for locations and times. Centex Computers Hutto is the official computer experts for On the Air with Mike Allen.
Route 106 Motors is the home of fine pre-owned vehicles. Experience a no-pressure sale with a family-friendly atmosphere. Route 106 Motors has been practicing the same simple philosophy of low prices for over a decade, and it has brought us great success. Recently, while other dealers are closing their doors, Route 106 Motors is expanding. We are a wholesale dealer, and we own the property and pay cash for all the vehicles. This allows us to sell to the consumer for a lot less than the average dealership. We are a high-volume, small-profit dealer, and we pass the savings on to you. New changes have been made at Route 106 Motors. Stop by and check out our brand-new building. Route 106 Motors, located at 569 West Street. Check our website at route106motors.com and be sure to like us on Facebook to find out about all the latest deals and savings opportunities. route106motors.com.
Are you ready to take your webpage to the next level? Go to icegram.com and download for free all the tools you will need to enhance your webpage content for potential customers, clients, or fans. Capture leads, call your audience to action, skyrocket conversation and engagement with action bars, pop-ups, toast notifications, message boxes, overlays, and sidebars. Head on over to icegram.com for your free download. That's icegram.com. Bottom line, you'll love it. Spirit Fingers.
I got Spirit Fingers to show this script. Okay.
Cell, 2G, 2,000 watts. Yeah.
Hey guys, Dani Blaze here from On the Air with Mike Allen. Tune in every Wednesday night as we explore the nuances of dating and relationships in the modern age, and of course, whatever else turns us on. The show starts at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, and you can get into bed with me, Dani Blaze, at 11 p.m. On the Air with Mike Allen, only on Armed Radio Global.
All right. Welcome back to the show. Later on, in about, less than 5 minutes, the long-awaited return of Heather Things That Go Bumpous in the Night. I don't know what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about something. Joe Ellen in studio with me. Tonight's broadcast brought to you by Eat24.com. And I just want to address something real quick before we turn it over to the girls, because then Danny comes on at 11. So you might even want to talk about this after my rant. I don't know. It's your thing. You haven't really got with me beforehand, so I don't know what we're going to do. I kind of like that.
Always mystery, always.
I kind of like that anticipation, kind of tell you the truth. All right. So I'm just going to go ahead and read my rant. I was going to have a discussion about it before. We ran a little long, and of course, I wanted to get that last part in. It was very important to me to do that. So I'm just going to get in with my rant here. Of course, everybody knows in the news the things that happened in Charleston, South Carolina, and now they're pretty much attacking or tearing down the rebel flag. Now, first of all, I posted this earlier today. That is not the Confederate flag. That is the Confederate battle flag. That is, and the reason why it's got an X like that is because in battle, the Confederate flag, the actual Confederate flag of the Confederate States of America, looked too much like the Stars and Stripes of the United States. So they changed it so they could really tell. Because early in the war, both sides pretty much wore the same uniform. It wasn't until later when, of course, the southern states ran out of dye to dye the wool blue, and they just went with the natural the natural butternut color that they became the brown. And they weren't really gray; they were brown. The officers wore gray, but the rank and file soldiers, 100% of which didn't own slaves, by the way, were in butternut. Was the color, and it was just the undyed wool uniforms because they ran out of blue dye. They didn't have any blue dye. So
that sounds like a very Parisian designer phrase. Oh, I think we should go with a nice butternut.
So it was through necessity that they didn't have it. But anyway, here's
they wore their own clothes.
So now Walmart, Amazon, everybody's taken down the Confederate battle flag. Of course, it's flown over the southern states ever since the 1960s, when it was kind of the middle finger by the Southern Democrats, who were conservative back then, not liberal like they are now.
Right.
It was kind of a middle finger to President Johnson and the northern states with the voting rights and stuff for the African Americans, and they started putting the battle flag on state flags. So Mississippi has it, South Carolina, Georgia, I think has the. Alabama's got the, and that's not.
I'm a Louisiana girl. I know all that.
Yeah, that's not the Confederate flag. The Confederate battle standard was an unofficial design designed by the troops so that they could tell their flag from the United States flag. That was a little bit of history there. So, and then after the war, in the late 1800s, early 1900s, with the rise of the Ku Klux Klan, which existed solely to keep Southern blacks in line, that standard was adopted by the Ku Klux Klan because of the majority of the organizers of the Ku Klux Klan were ex-Confederate officers. So they just adopted the Confederate battle flag. Now, to kind of put it in perspective, I don't really care either way. I'm from Michigan.
Yeah.
My side won, so, it doesn't make any difference to me.
We don't need to talk about that part about it.
But anyway, it is a part of history, and I think anytime you try to suppress or ignore history, it repeats itself. However, I think, and I don't believe that what happened in Charleston ties in to what happened, but I think, here's my rant. On the evening of June 17th, 2015, a mass shooting took place at the Emmanuel African Methodist Episcopal Church in downtown Charleston, South Carolina. The church is one of the United States' oldest black churches and has long been the site for community organization around civil rights. 9 people were killed, including a senior pastor and state senator, Clementa C. Pinckney. I'm sure I said that wrong. Pinckney.
Call him Mr. P.
A 10th person was shot but survived. Police arrested a white suspect, later identified as 21-year-old Dylan Roof, in Shelby, North Carolina, the morning after the attack, and the United States Department of Justice is investigating the possibility that the shooting was a hate crime or an act of domestic terrorism, among other scenarios. The Federal Bureau of Investigation considers it a hate crime, but not an act of terrorism. Roof has been charged at 9 counts of murder by the state of Carolina. That came off of Wikipedia, kind of a conglomeration of all the news releases. This news release was not even minutes old when the social media came alive with a predictable smattering of propaganda from the usual sources. The liberal progressive left started in on how racism is alive and well in the country, and something needs to be done to erase it. Also from the left came the gun control crowd, stating that stricter and more intrusive gun laws need to be in place because of this incident. Obviously, this would have been prevented if Dylan Roof was not able to get his hands on guns. Politicians jumped in to capitalize the tragedy, too, using this as a way to pander to potential voters. Democrats condemning the act and promising to tackle racism and our rampant gun problem, pandering to the liberal progressive base. Republican pounced, too, attacking the fact that the church has been deemed a gun-free zone. The Christian right took the opportunity to bolster the attack on Christians dogma. Fox News didn't even mention racism motivator until later, when it was unavoidable because Mr. Roof confessed that was his motivation. This is what the country has become. all of it driven by 24-hour news cycle and propaganda aimed at certain demographics designed to enhance viewership and sell products. And we stand a country divided. What can break the spell? How can we as a nation rise up together and face the challenges that inevitably we face together? Does racism exist in the U.S.? Does it exist to the extent of what is being displayed in the media and social websites? Is there a way to eradicate racism? The answer America came up with is to take down and get rid of the Confederate battle flag, removing it from state capitals, stores, websites, and even NASCAR. Not that it will accomplish what it is intent, but it's fun to watch the froth created by the sensationalism of it all. Still, the question remains, can we eradicate racism and bigotry? I think we can. And it came from a surprising source. And if you are not paying close attention, you missed it. The mainstream media glossed over it. It wasn't controversial enough. It was almost as if it was ignored on purpose, as it would not divide us enough. Earlier this week, Dylan Roof was brought before a judge to be arraigned. Present in the courtroom were survivors and family members of the victims that were gunned down in cold blood. They had an opportunity to face the killer of their loved ones. Now, most of us would have yelled, screamed, condemned, or outright threatened this young man that took so much away from us. This calculated, cold-blooded monster driven by racism and bigotry. It would be easy to do this, to lash out. No one would fault us for it. Most posts I've seen commented on creative ways to send Mr. Roof to the hell he belongs in. Everything from allowing the survivors to have at him with baseball bats to dropping him off in the middle of Compton or East L.A. But none of that happened. And that's not what happened. Not at all. Mr. Roof's motivation was hatred of blacks. He was not subtle about it. He planned it. He walked into a church with the sole motivation to kill black people and start a race war. And he failed. Even with all the propagandist efforts to milk this latest tragedy, something quite different was the result. As the victims and family members stood in the court, facing Dylan Roof, they gave us the answer to eradicating racism in America, nay, even the world. One by one, they addressed Mr. Roof, admonished his horrible acts, let him know how much he hurt them, and then they prayed for his salvation and forgave him. No yelling, no cursing, no condemnation. They forgave him. And when we as a nation can rise to that awesome example, then we can defeat racism and bigotry. I'm Mike Allen. This is the Armed Radio Global Network, and you are on the air.
Is your wife wicked hot? Or is she just cold? Do you just want to take a hot shower? Call Savino Mechanical for all your heating, hot water, and cooling needs. Savino Mechanical has been servicing Greater Boston and Southern New Hampshire for over a quarter century. Quality 24-hour service, reasonable rates, satisfaction guaranteed, licensed and insured. And remember, at Savino Mechanical, we are not comfortable until you are. Call Savino Mechanical today at 1-855-624-4280. That's 1-855-624-4280. Savino Mechanical.
Hi, now I know you hear Joe Rocks on their weekly restaurant reviews on Night Talk, 10 p.m. Eastern. And boy, these two like to eat. Right, boys? Well, here's something to review right from your house. Eat24. That's right, Eat24.com, with over 25,000 restaurants for you to choose from when you're hungry, many in your area. So review that, boys. Eat24.com. Click, order, and eat. Eat24.com.
Armed Radio Global presents its new 2015 Talk at Night lineup.
Mondays, 8 p.m. Eastern. Spot On with Lino and Tom.
Straight Talk with Matt Hazley. Mondays and Fridays, 10 p.m. Eastern.
On Tuesdays, Talk Time with Val, 8 p.m. Eastern, followed by High Five at 10 p.m. Eastern with Johnny and Mikey.
Wednesdays on the air with Mike Allen, 10 p.m. EST, and Thursdays Night Talk with Joe Rocks, 10 p.m. Eastern.
Join the talk now on Ustream TV. Replays on Spreaker, exclusively on Armed Radio Global.
Ever have a computer issue that you can't figure out? Is your computer running slow, locking up, or giving you the blue screen of death? Now you have a store that not only can diagnose your rig, but if needed, upgrade that tired old workhorse. Centex Computers in Hutto is equipped not only to fix your computer, but give you an honest analysis of what needs to be fixed. Let's face it, your home computer is not only convenient, it's essential for your home or your office to stay in touch in this new virtual world. Now you have a place to take your computer for honest and reliable service. Visit www.centexcomputers.com for locations and times. Centex Computers Hutto is the official computer experts for On the Air with Mike Allen.
Night Talk with Joe Rocks. 10 p.m. Eastern, Thursdays, is now on Ustream TV. Spreaker for replays and live. On Live 365, exclusively on Armed Radio Global.
All right, we are back, and I'm excited. Tonight's broadcast brought to you by E24.com and Centex Computers of Hutto. Steve might not have a storefront, but he will still fix your computers. Give him a call. Go to CentexComputers.com for all his new and updated contact information. And if you've got an iPhone or iPad that needs to be fixed, or if your computer needs to be fixed, take it down there and give it to him. Just hand it to him. And trust that he'll get it fixed right. Please, welcome back to the Armed Radio Global Man Cave. After a long absence, too long, but for good reason, and if she wants to talk about it, she can. Heather, things that go bumpous in the night. How you doing, Heather?
I'm good. I'm good.
Oh, man, you look good.
Thank you.
You look good. And I'm glad to have you back.
I'm glad to be back. I am. It has been.
We've been playing your commercial, we're keeping you around.
Well, just kind of keeping me around.
Kept the plate with a fork and set the whole thing. So how you doing?
I'm doing good. It was a long, month, I think, that I was gone.
Yep, long month, yeah.
Yeah. We had a illness in the family, and unfortunately, he passed away a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, a week today. But we're doing okay. We're doing okay. Cancer is a son of a bitch.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So.
And he was surrounded by his family and everything.
He was surrounded by loved ones. It was a struggle towards the end, but we feel that he's better off.
Oh yeah,
of course. But that kind of brings up some things. Is a lot of people have the question of, do they see anybody before they go, or is there an afterlife?
Mm-hmm.
And before he did go into a coma the last few days. But before he did, of course they would have chalked it up to hallucinations, because he was hallucinating, because it was lack of alcohol. I see your alcohol.
Would you like some alcohol?
No,
okay.
Lack of food and
we can
water.
make that happen.
Gosh, I'm like looking at your cup. Alcohol. And they can hallucinate, but we honestly believe that he was seeing people. There was one night that I stayed with him, and I was talking to him, and he kept looking at something. I said, "What are you looking at?" And he said, "Well, the people behind you." And I said, "Well, is it anybody you know?" And he says, "No, I don't think so." And I said, "Well, did you feel uncomfortable?" He said, "No." I said, "Okay, how many, are there?"
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "Well, it's kind of like a small church choir." I'm like, "Okay."
Interesting.
And some of the family members did see some shadows and, stuff like that. And at the end, he was in a coma for 3 days. And right before he passed away, he opened his eyes, and they asked him, they said, "Is Mom standing there?" Because my mother-in-law passed away a couple of years ago, and he went peacefully, took his last breath. So I believe that, there are angels that are looking over you and come and take you when you're ready, or when it's your time.
Well, I know it's he had a long journey.
He did,
and you all were there with him, and that was a blessing.
Yes.
Really.
Yes. We got to spend a lot of time with him, and good and bad.
Did you let him win at cards? That last card game.
You know what? I don't think so. I don't think so.
That would have been cool.
Well, we asked him, kind of towards the end. We're like, "Hey, you want to play some poker?" And he's like, "Yeah." But he got to a point where he didn't want to do anything, and we understood that.
Yeah. You get to a point where it's just,
Yeah, but he's a strong one. He held out a long time, and longer than what they expected.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he's
ornery.
His son's like him.
Yeah.
He pretty much told us towards the end when he was going to go, and he went that time. He knew when he was ready to go. So, it was hard to see it and go through it, but he's better off, and we know he's okay. And now it's time to just move on.
Yep, it's all part of the cycle.
It is. I always say you're born to die.
Well,
the minute you're born, you start,
The leading cause of death is birth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much.
That's so deep.
100% mortality rate.
Yeah. But, it's been a while since I've been here. I know that I need to get in contact with our Australian Paranormal Society.
Yeah, well, he sends me little beard stuff now and again. So, William, if you're listening, William Tabone from Australia.
Hi, William.
And he's on his way to Texas.
He is. I need to get in contact with him.
And guess what I still have?
What? The key.
The key. And I lost the guy's number. I don't know. I've been looking for it. He hasn't tried to call me, and we still have the GoFundMe up there with $50 in it.
And we still have access to it. He told us that we could.
At any time, yeah.
Yeah.
What's the key to?
It's to the Taylor Sanitarium.
Taylor Sanitarium in Taylor.
That we went and did an investigation at.
That was pretty cool.
And?
We didn't find anything. Well, you could feel like cold spots and
there
stuff.
There was a few things that happened.
Yeah, and
but we didn't catch anything on camera.
See, you go into a paranormal investigation. What I've learned from Heather and from others, you go in with your intent is to disprove everything.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So and really a lot of it just came down to feelings. I'd be walking, you know me, I'm me, and then all of a sudden you just get this feeling of dread with kind of a cold, feeling.
It's not it's a bone chilling because it kind of goes right through you.
But we were using digital, and I heard, and I talked to you about it, and of course we need to use magnetic.
Yeah.
So we're going to go
digital magnetic camera.
Magnetic meaning like a cassette
like tape
or reel to reel.
Yeah.
Not digital.
Right.
Not digital.
Okay. And we need to use disposable cameras.
And just an actual film, actual film, not digital film.
Right.
So we're gonna kind of change our tactics.
Yeah, and I'm still. My sister-in-law had tagged me in a post not too long ago that there was a paranormal team in San Antonio that they were looking for somebody. And that they traveled all over Texas, and I contacted them and left them a few messages, and they we went back and forth, and they wanted me, but I'm not driving to San Antonio all the time because that's where their headquarters.
Tell them to come up here. Well, tell them to start an office up here, and then
I can run it up here. Yeah.
OTA Paranormal can come up here, and then we can get them on the show.
Yeah, and so it's I've kind of been out
from an 1800 era. Padlock is the coolest thing.
It's very cool.
I got to show you the pictures.
We have pictures, yeah.
Yeah, we got pictures. We took.
But I think our best investigation, of course, is at the Hutto Cemetery, which I want to go back to.
Yes, because that's the only place we got the EVP.
Got the EVP from there, and I have a few more lined up. Like I said, I've been out a month,
Go ahead.
kind of. What's an EVP?
An EVP is electronic.
I was telling her, grab the mic and pull it to your mouth when you talk.
What's an EVP?
It's an electric.
Yeah, Ellen's new. Joe Ellen's new, so we need to bring her up to
I'm
speed.
a Southern belle. I don't grab mics.
Well, okay.
An EV.
Caress the mic and draw it to you in a romantic way.
There's a Tim that I would like to grab.
An EVP is an electronic voice phenomenon.
Oh, okay.
So you're picking up somebody's voice or a whisper or, any kind of noise. And we went on an investigation on Halloween. Had a few mishaps.
Yeah. Well, it was weird because I had. That's back when I had my laptop. I had my mobile, so we set up mobile. We had everything set up. I had tested it.
Everything was working fine.
Everything was working fine. I was actually talking to Joe Savino.
Yes.
Via the internet. The guy that lives right next to the cemetery let us use his property. He's a good friend of mine, and he came out, and he was talking to us. And then right when we went on the air,
everything shut down.
Everything shut down. It was unexplainable.
So he ended up having to come back to the studio. Me and Patrick stayed out at the cemetery, and Patrick had never done this before. This was his first time. So he's just kind of like...
He was a virgin.
Yeah, and I'm like, are you going to be okay? He's like, yeah, I might leave you behind. I'm like, okay. I mean, I'm used to it.
Because, Patrick's part... You know what she calls Patrick and Seth?
What?
The cute boy couple. I love it. I tell you what, hold that thought. We're going to be back. We got to hit a commercial. We're back with Heather. Things that go bumpus in the night. She's catching us up. We're going to get back into the paranormal. If you're listening right now and you have someplace you'd like to have investigated, or you just like to come hang out with us and know of a place that you're interested about and would like some backup, because no one likes to go alone, give us a call. You can email me at mikeallensports@gmail.com or tweet me at mikeallen_OTA. And the dogs just said, the hell with it, we're coming in. We run this place. Holy cow. All right. Or go to the website, OTA Paranormal on Facebook. Let us know about it, and we'll get you hooked up. I got to get control of the man cave because the dogs just said, the hell with it, we're coming in. That's all there is to it. Ooh, I don't know if it's the dogs that open the door. That's a good thing. We'll be right back. I'm Mike Allen. This is the Armed Radio Global Network, and you are on the air.
Route 106 Motors is the home of fine pre-owned vehicles. Experience a no-pressure sale with a family-friendly atmosphere. Route 106 Motors has been practicing the same simple philosophy of low prices for over a decade, and it has brought us great success. Recently, while other dealers are closing their doors, Route 106 Motors is expanding. We are a wholesale dealer, and we own the property and pay cash for all the vehicles. This allows us to sell to the consumer for a lot less than the average dealership. We are a high-volume, small-profit dealer, and we pass the savings on to you. New changes have been made at Route 106 Motors. Stop by and check out our brand-new building. Route 106 Motors, located at 569 West Street. Check our website at route106motors.com and be sure to like us on Facebook to find out about all the latest deals and savings opportunities. route106motors.com.
Are you ready to take your webpage to the next level? Go to icegram.com and download for free all the tools you will need to enhance your webpage content for potential customers, clients, or fans. Capture leads, call your audience to action, skyrocket conversation and engagement with action bars, pop-ups, toast notifications, message boxes, overlays, and sidebars. Head on over to icegram.com for your free download. That's icegram.com. Bottom line, you'll love it. Spirit fingers.
I got Spirit Fingers to show this script. Okay.
Cell, 2G, 2000 watts. Yeah.
Hey guys, Dani Blaze here from On the Air with Mike Allen. Tune in every Wednesday night as we explore the nuances of dating and relationships in the modern age, and of course, whatever else turns us on. The show starts at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, and you can get into bed with me, Dani Blaze, at 11 p.m. On the Air with Mike Allen, only on Armed Radio Global.
Is your wife wicked hot? Or is she just cold? Do you just want to take a hot shower? Call Savino Mechanical for all your heating, hot water, and cooling needs. Savino Mechanical has been servicing Greater Boston and Southern New Hampshire for over a quarter century. Quality 24-hour service, reasonable rates, satisfaction guaranteed, licensed and insured. And remember, at Savino Mechanical, we are not comfortable until you are. Call Savino Mechanical today at 1-855-624-4280. That's 1-855-624-4280. Savino Mechanical.
You want your music?
Yeah.
What was your music?
Remember we were doing like the X-Files, but we couldn't do it because
we couldn't do it because of contract. I'll find some music for you.
Okay.
We'll have some music because we do need some music.
I know. I need spooky music.
I like Stevie Wonder though.
Just because you like it doesn't mean anything.
Well, what music do you like?
Not this.
Not this? Give me a song. What song do you want to use?
I don't know. I can't think right now about that. I have dog slobber on me.
You got dog slobber?
Yummy.
The DC.
DC
dog.
So
the dogs busted down the door during the break and came in the man cave. And
They did.
They just want pets. They just want loving. That's what we were talking about.
We were talking about our investigation at the cemetery.
At the Hutto Cemetery, yeah.
Yeah, well, I guess I figure we'll catch everybody up since I've been gone a little while of what we've done. You know, at the cemetery, of course, we caught the EVP.
Didn't catch anything that we know of.
We got a couple pictures from the cemetery.
Yeah, I think that's dust. I think
it's
we're
not
dust.
dust.
Tell me about the EVP that you caught. So it's an electronic voice phenomenon. But tell me about it. Like what'd you get? Imitated.
I don't know if I can go into that much detail, but
what you said, be quiet or
yeah, we were me and Patrick had been walking around. And his camera kept messing up. And a lot of times that will happen if there's any spirits around because they'll drain, they take from your, to get energy, they'll take from your electronic devices. Well, his camera, working fine earlier, and it kept messing up. And there was we were over by the founder of Hutto's cemetery, or headstone, and there in the video, when we listen back to the recording, he had just taken a picture, and I just asked him, "Is it not working again?" And then you heard a voice, and me and him were the only ones out in the cemetery, so I went back and it was so funny because the next morning I'm listening to it laying in bed, and I heard it, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And I called, Mark right away.
Mike. I don't know why this is so hard.
Because I don't like that name, so. But anyway.
What?
But I called him, and I was like, you got to hear
there.
this. Shut up. I was like, you got to hear this. And it was a lady that asked us to, but she was like,
quiet,
she was like, be quiet, please. And, but it was more of a breathy, a long breathy. And I still have the recording, which it's not.
Like, be quiet.
Yeah.
It was just real subtle. Real subtle.
And I played it, and I didn't tell anybody what it said because I wanted them to, because once you tell somebody what you think it says, then they automatically think that's what it says. Exactly. So I just brought it over and let everybody listen to it. And it was so funny with Patrick because that was his first time out. And once he heard it, he was freaking out. But he was excited too. It's hit or miss. When we went to the sanitarium, we didn't really catch much. We had personal experiences, but nothing that we could show for. So, can I say that it's actually haunted? No, I can't say that because we don't have proof of that except for personal experiences. To us, it might be because we had the personal experiences, but to everybody else, they want proof. There's optimistics out there. There's, there are believers, but they want to see proof. And I am too. I'm one of those. I like to see proof. But when I have the experience myself, then I know there's something there. We did Taylor
Taylor
in the Hutto
Cemetery.
And we haven't really done much since.
Well, you did one on your own, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
And didn't find anything? Didn't?
Not really.
Yeah.
No. I do have somebody else that actually approached me and wants me to investigate, and it's a private home, so it's going to be one of those, depending on if this person's okay with it, on who I bring, of course. But there's been things that have been, they're throwing things at this person. Like, they'll be sitting there. Yeah, they'll be sitting there, and something will fly off the shelf. So I'm going to go in there. Well, I got to find out from them if it's okay if who I bring as far as the crew, because it's not a very, very big place anyway. But so I'm going to do that one, and it's so funny because I've had quite a bit contact me personally or privately, asking, and they're like, hey, my house is haunted and this and that, can you come over? And I'm like, yeah, but like I said, I've kind of been on a break for a month, so now I got to contact these people and see if they still want me, want us to come in and investigate and go from there. And, I want to got to get a hold of William, because he's supposed to come to the studio to see us.
When he's the Australian.
When he's here. Yeah. Plus, he wanted to do something.
And he wants to, well, I kind of told him, because he's doing some investigating over here, and I was like, oh, you better let me come.
Oh, my God, yes.
Yeah, so I need to get a hold of him and see
let me know, and I'll go.
Yeah, yeah.
But we got to get him in studio.
Oh, yeah, well, he said he was coming. He wants barbecue.
We have to burn flesh on the grill, and we have to drink copious amounts of alcohol.
Yes. Really cool guy, and I met them.
Because he's Australian, so we know he can drink.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. When I started my paranormal website, all of a sudden, once I started that, like, all these paranormal websites popped up.
Right.
And they popped up, and I contacted them, and William, he actually turned into a really great friend. And they're doing right now on the Sci-Fi Channel, I believe. William, if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. They're doing Australian paranormal out there, and he's actually been on a few episodes, so it was pretty cool. I was like, hey, I know that guy. And he's invited us to Australia, and said that, and I'd love to go investigate over there. The places are just unbelievable over there. Even from the show that I'm watching with them in it, I mean, these places, the old castles, and but he actually, he said anytime that we can come and hang out at the headquarters drink. And drink and go investigate. But
that's like what you do in Australia, right? Drink
and swim in shark-infested waters.
Yeah.
Unless you're taking a walk.
And get into a fight with kangaroos. Yeah. Yes. I'm sure that William's
by the way, what we were talking about last week, hashtag Shark Lash Ladder. They were talking about people being bit by sharks swimming in the ocean where sharks live. And they went out and killed the shark, so we've been hashtagging Shark Lives Matter.
That is funny.
I know, it's kind of bad.
Yeah, well.
My bad. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I lost my train of thought. Thanks.
Australia.
Oh, yeah, Australia.
I would like to say I dated the Australian national gymnastic champion. That's all I have to contribute to the Australian story. But
that's your Australian connection.
And he did drink. He did some serious drinking.
Yeah, well, Australians, I think, drink. Anyway. Yeah. I once drank a Foster's Lager. So
I can't drink anything like that.
That's my contribution to...
If they don't have coconut rum and they don't have, like, Miller or something, then, William, I'm sorry, I'm not coming.
Yeah. What, Miller? What? No. When you go to... Listen.
What?
Okay. I'm going to take you under my wing here. When you go to other countries...
I know, you got to try their beer.
You don't have to try their beer. Just drink their beer.
Just drink it.
Don't ask for a Miller or a Bud Light or all this crap.
It'd be like a commercial. I'd walk in there and be like, "Do you have a Miller?" And they all just stare at me like, "Get out of here."
All you do is you walk in there and say beer. because in every country but the United States, and the United States is starting to get back to this, which I think is awesome because beer is such a wonderful liquid. When you go to Australia or you go to Germany or Spain or France, when you go to that town, it'd be like if you were come to Hutto and Hutto had a lager,
right?
Wheat beer, a Pilsner, an export, an IP. And when you went...
I won't do IP.
When you go to the city, you don't say, I want a beer. You say, I want that type of beer. And whatever type of beer that is, brewed in that local city is what you get.
Okay, so do you think that goes
They don't have mass like here, like where you walk in and it's all Coors Light. They don't have that. This is the only country that has that crap.
Mike.
Yes, what? Go ahead.
Do you think ghosts drink beer? Because you got off subject there.
I think when I become a ghost, I'm going to drink beer. But that way, I'm going to haunt every...
I do have a question about the digital.
Go ahead.
I do. So, have they not figured out how to make themselves seen on digital yet? Is it a learning curve for them? I mean, is that what's happening? Or is it electromagnetic field issue?
Electromagnetic
Quantum
field issue.
physics.
Yeah.
That's the sum total of what I know about that as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what was... The way it was explained to me was that with digital, it doesn't have the method to pick it up. Although we did get that EVP on a digital.
Actually, it was my phone.
It was a phone.
Yeah, it was my
but
phone.
But on the magnetic strip, they can make themselves more apparent. So
yeah,
they could have been trying to, because we felt a lot of those cold brushes and feelings of anxiety in the hospital, but we didn't have any. I don't think we had a way for them for.
They can't connect.
Yeah,
they can't. It's almost like. You know how you have those fly traps and the flies, they get on them, they can't get off of them. That's kind of like what it is, with the magnetic and they have to kind of stick to something to be able to get it out. And with a digital recorder, they can't really do that. They can drain your battery or phone, whatever you have, but the minute that it's drained, they don't have the energy anymore. So, it's more of, like quantum physics. It's just kind of, it all kind of...
Isn't quantum physics fascinating?
It is.
Yeah, I love that. Isn't quantum physics fascinating?
Go.
I'm going to come sit in your lap, Mike, so that I can share your mic.
That would be kind of awesome, but go ahead.
When years ago, I dated I did date the national gymnastic champion, but I also dated Tori Amos's...
How was his dismount?
I also dated.
Welcome back, Heather.
See, she lost her train of thought.
No, I haven't. I'm thinking about the dismount.
What did the East German judge give him as a score?
I also dated one of the bass players for Tori Amos in Baton Rouge, and he moved into a house with a bunch of people, male and female, probably 2 or 3 bedroom house. It was an old house in Baton Rouge, and I went over to visit, and there was a room that was not it was not a living room, it wasn't a dining room, it was more almost like a study or a library, maybe even, although it didn't have shelves. It was just a room that was kind of in the main living part of the house, but to the side, and it had a door that you went into and a door that closed. It wasn't you could pass through it, but it was kind of closed. I was like, well, you guys, what are you doing with this room? Are you going to use it as another bedroom? It was empty. They were showing me all these other rooms. I was like, what about this room? It was a nice sized room. It was probably, I don't know, it was probably like 16 by 18. It was huge. Gorgeous windows. It was a very nice room. No, that room's haunted. I was like, what? And I said, yeah, it is. We don't know why. It just is. So we went in.
They didn't go in it?
They wouldn't go. Well, you went in, and it was the room was freezing cold. Now, I personally am not afraid of any of that in any way, shape, or form. It's like, okay, I don't know. I don't understand it. I don't need to understand it. I'm not afraid of it. Whatever. I know who I am. and I can take down any ghost that wants to come after me. That's my feeling, because I have a good dismount myself. Okay, so I go in, and the room was freezing cold.
Now you see why I like her.
The room was freezing cold, and I was like, I do believe in mass hysteria. I'm more inclined to believe in mass hysteria than ghosts, but again, I don't know, and I'm like, do you want to figure out, like, maybe if there's a vent issue going on? Like, they didn't have anything other than somebody else's word for it, and the fact that the room was kind of cold, and the way the room was set up, it actually was kind of centered in, like, maybe like 3/4 of it was surrounded by interior walls, so it kind of made sense, that it could be, and it was facing north and stuff. But it was a really interesting thing, and I've thought about that room. The thing that is significant to me is that I've never forgotten that room, ever. I wasn't afraid. I didn't feel anything except extreme cold. But I've never forgotten that room.
Well, I mean, it could be that.
To the mic.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Hold on. See, this is what it sounds like when you don't talk into the mic.
I can still hear you.
It's random. I know, but it sounds like far away.
But I can still hear you.
But now it sounds good. My voice is reverberating, and it sounds good.
Do I sound like an EVP over here?
Please be quiet.
Wow, I am just so glad
don't
I'm
you
back.
miss this?
I know,
Don't you miss
yes.
this, Heather?
I have. Do you remember the address of that place? No.
I mean, I know the general area.
I know. See how far she's on her way?
Okay, she said she knows the general area.
I could find it, but I don't even talk to that guy anymore. But
why don't you guys talk into the mic?
because
Oh my word!
we're 3 feet away
Look,
from each
here,
other.
put it right here.
We'd
Put it in
have
the middle. There you go. And then I'll adjust. Okay. Not talk.
Okay.
I get close. Get
We
closer.
don't know each other that well.
Go ahead and touch each other on the shoulder. Yeah. Ever so
Oh,
long.
you.
I'm sorry.
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay.
Okay.
No, I know the general area. I mean, I don't even know the place. I don't even talk to that guy anymore. Although I'd love to. He was a lovely man.
I bet.
He was
Unlike me.
He was a lovely individual, actually. Very talented. Did a lot of studio work.
Yeah, definitely unlike you.
Very. You had me at very talented.
Anyway, so I just. But it's interesting how I remember that room. I wasn't afraid. I wasn't. And I do believe that we all have a spiritual vibration level at some point. And I'm wondering. I've always wondered. Was I? But I don't have fear, spiritual fear,
Yeah, and I mean, we could take you on an investigation and you can end up being a sensitive and feel it more than the other person because you don't have that fear. Mm-hmm. The ones that have the fear is they may feel it more, but it's going to be worse for them because they set themselves
filtered
up
through their fear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, that's why I try to tell people, like Patrick, when we did the investigation at the cemetery, I told him, if you're freaked out, you're going to think everything is going bump in the night,
Right.
Because they set themselves up for that.
Right.
And, I mean, he did good. He's like, I don't see. I mean, there was a few things that we felt, but then we got the EVP, and he was like, oh, my goodness, And I've went out there a couple times around that area and haven't picked up anything. So it's kind of, I mean, that's the whole thing of us going in. And like Mike said, see, I said Mike. Are you happy?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Who are you talking
Like
about?
he said.
Who are you talking about?
Mike.
Oh. Yeah, right.
That guy.
My goodness.
What?
The craziness ensues. I don't even know.
You can't even talk.
I can't even talk.
I should have not brought you that wine.
No, we're good.
You mean you're good.
We'll be right back after these messages with more Heather, things that go bumpus in the night. Joe Ellen, myself. Top of the hour, Dani Blaze. We're getting in bed with her. Always a fun time. I'm Mike Allen. This is the Armed Radio Global Network, and you are on the air.
Route Route 106 Motors is the home of fine pre-owned vehicles. Experience a no-pressure sale with a family-friendly atmosphere. Route 106 Motors has been practicing the same simple philosophy of low prices for over a decade, and it has brought us great success. Recently, while other dealers are closing their doors, Route 106 Motors is expanding. We are a wholesale dealer, and we own the property and pay cash for all the vehicles. This allows us to sell to the consumer for a lot less than the average dealership. We are a high-volume, small-profit dealer, and we pass the savings on to you. New changes have been made at Route 106 Motors. Stop by and check out our brand-new building. Route 106 Motors, located at 569 West Street. Check our website at route106motors.com and be sure to like us on Facebook to find out about all the latest deals and savings opportunities. route106motors.com.
Are you ready to take your webpage to the next level? Go to icegram.com and download for free all the tools you will need to enhance your webpage content for potential customers, clients, or fans. Capture leads, call your audience to action, skyrocket conversation and engagement with action bars, pop-ups, toast notifications, message boxes, overlays, and sidebars. Head on over to icegram.com for your free download. That's icegram.com. Bottom line, you'll love it. And now, Deep Thoughts with Brooklyn Express.
So the other day, I look at the time, I'm driving home from work. Damn, man, I'm running late. I'm going to miss Clan Wars. So I start barreling down the highway, get off the exit, and this little Chinese lady's cut across the ramp. So I'm thinking, should I just try to get around her? Or, be the right guy and stop, let her cross in front of me. But after a deep thought, I said to myself, if I stop, I'm probably going to be late for Clan Wars. The hell with that shit. So I flew past her, and my frickin' Yukon mirror slammed her in the frickin' side of the head. Thank God I didn't stop to see what the hell happened back there, bro. Because I looked back, and she was rolling about 3 feet ahead of her feet. That was a bad deep thought right there, man.
Night Talk with Joe Rocks. 10 p.m. Eastern, Thursdays, is now on Ustream TV. Spreaker for replays and live. On Live 365, exclusively on Armed Radio Global.
Ever have a computer issue that you can't figure out? Is your computer running slow, locking up, or giving you the blue screen of death? Now you have a store that not only can diagnose your rig, but if needed, upgrade that tired old workhorse. Centex Computers in Hutto is equipped not only to fix your computer, but give you an honest analysis of what needs to be fixed. Let's face it, your home computer is not only convenient, it's essential for your home or your office to stay in touch in this new virtual world. Now you have a place to take your computer for honest and reliable service. Visit www.centexcomputers.com for locations and times. Centex Computers Hutto is the official computer experts for On the Air with Mike Allen. All right, welcome back to the show. Tonight's broadcast brought to you by E24.com and Centex Computers. If you got a problem with your computer, your iPad, or iPhone, call Steve. Go to CentexComputers.com for updated information on how to get a hold of him. He doesn't have a storefront anymore, but he still will take care of you from his house. Pretty cool. Joining me in the ring...
You are so cut off.
In the ring.
Cut off. There you go. There you go. Remember what I told you Sunday?
Introducing first, farting out of the red corner. Playing what... Joining me in the Armed Radio Global Central Texas Man Cave, Heather Things That Go Bumpous in the Night, and our beautiful angel voice, Joe Ellen. Now, Joe sings. She sings out. She has a couple of gigs coming up. Why don't you tell us about those, Joe?
This Friday, I'm singing at Two Rivers Market on 103 North Austin in Georgetown. It's a great little grocery and wine bar. You loved it.
I loved it. It's fantastic.
And you're bringing a group this weekend.
We are going to get rowdy.
On Friday. Rowdy. I'm actually going to add some rowdy songs. And when I miss a lyric, we drink. I don't drink, but y'all do.
So Johnny,
by the time the night's over,
Heather,
you'll be
Danny.
Because I tend to miss my lyrics a lot. I like to take after Ella Fitzgerald.
The Finger Bang Gang will be there.
Finger Bang Gang. I don't want to know what that means. And so I'm singing that this Friday at Two Rivers, 6 to 8. You can go to Facebook, Joe Ellen and the Box of Chocolates, and see that. And then I'm singing the next Friday there as well. And then on Saturday, I'm singing at the park for the 4th of July whoop-de-doo at 1 o'clock. So that's what's going on, and I'm looking for band members because I really want to tour a bus. I don't really want to sing on tour. I just want a tour bus.
You just want a bus.
I just want a bus. I like driving big vehicles. Okay. I do.
I could play spoons.
Can you?
Double entendre.
There was no double entendre on that. I really like driving big buses.
She likes big buses and she cannot lie.
You knew that was going there, right?
I didn't. I forgot.
I did.
I forgot that he was 14.
Yeah. How could you forget that?
I don't know.
Danny!
Anyway, Two Rivers Market, Friday, 6 to 8. It's a great little patio. It's really kind of cool. It's fun. They've got a lot of great little craft beers and wine, and
got great sandwiches made fresh daily. Yeah,
and it's kind of a cool, groovy.
Check it out.
Yeah.
It's a relaxed kind of. It's a really intimate venue.
Well, we ought to pack in the man van or pack in your van, the mom van.
The mom van.
And head on up there as a group and just get rowdy.
The mom band will be gone eventually.
You sounded so cool when you talked about your man van, and then when you said mom van, it
just didn't sound right.
Don't say mom.
Well, she's a mom. It's a mom van.
Don't say mom van.
See, mine's a man van. Dani Blaze joining us in the Armed Radio Global Man Cave.
Looking
happy. And she looks liquored up and ready to go.
You look like a Disney princess. Yes, like a bubblegum princess.
Bubblegum princess. That's what the guy said at your interview? Mm-hmm. Bubblegum princess. Like a chewed up piece of bubblegum princess.
That's what I feel like.
Look, I can get that suitcase for you. Sorry.
So we're just talking about random things now.
Well, I have to get a suitcase from her because my little one is going away for camp for 4 days.
We got a buttload of just whatever you need.
It's her first time to go to camp, and she can't take electronics.
Is it cheer camp?
No, it's church.
Church camp.
Church camp.
Oh yeah, they take all that stuff.
The oldest one will be back July 3rd, and she goes cheer camp. But they're coming home every night. They're actually going to do it up at the high school.
Oh, very cool.
So,
that's no fun.
I know.
I
was like, darn it.
You can't sneak out and get in trouble when you're coming home every night.
Okay, yeah, let's stop there.
Yeah, welcome to high school, Mom. You don't have any idea.
I have to tell you this. I was driving down the road.
I will tell you, one morning I got up. And I came in my man cave.
Uh-huh.
And I heard rustling next door, and I thought, well, my daughter's getting up. She's getting ready for school. No, she's coming in through the window.
Well, I can tell you this much. I was driving down the road the other day.
It should be condom free.
And
check before you.
Oh my word!
Should be condom free.
Driving down the road the other day, right?
Oh, jeez.
And I saw. Sorry, Danny. I saw these boys walking down the street, and I'm like, those are high school boys. I'm like, oh my God, I'm flipping out now because she's too pretty to go to high school.
Nah,
she's not allowed to go to high
school. Tell your husband.
Invest in a gun?
Oh, he's got that.
Yeah, what does he have?
I don't know. I know he has a scope when they start running.
No. See, what you want is a 410 full of rock salt.
Seriously.
Because you don't want to kill anybody.
No, we're not
But you just want to make sure that they have the pain that lasts. And I don't know if... see, this is a different era. When I was a kid, we used to sneak across this fence and we'd go over next door. And we lived next door to a dairy farm. And the dairy farm was owned by a guy by the name of... You're a loser and no one likes you. It was owned by a guy named Dave Botnick. Okay, and this is the difference in today's parents and when I was growing up. We went over there and we were horsing around in his hay barn, messing up the hay bales, jumping in the hay, just being kids. And, of course, you mess up a hay bale, then you can't move it, and then it's just a big mess. And so as we were running away from the barn laughing, Farmer Botnick took out a 410 shotgun with rock salt, and he shot at us. And one of the rock salt pellets hit me in the back of my calf. Now, if anybody's ever been hit with rock salt before or knows what rock salt is.
But the question is, did you die?
I didn't die. I didn't die, but I limped home like I was, because my leg was on fire, because the salt is like right underneath my skin.
Yeah.
And so I went in, and nowadays, if I were to go in, if I was a kid, then the parents would be like, oh, we need to sue the farmer. Oh, my God, he shot at her son. Not, well, what'd you do? But the first question my dad asked me, what'd you do?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sitting there lying in pain. My dad's like, yeah, what'd you do? Yeah. It's like, well, I was over at Botnick's barn. He says, okay, well, Mr. Botnick will probably be over here to talk about it.
Yeah.
And then Botnick came over, and my dad apologized to him and said, oh, you got myself some rock salt. And he goes, yeah, I just want to make sure the kid was okay. And it's like, yeah, he'll be fine. My dad's like winking at him, and I'm like, dude, he shot me with rock salt.
That's fine.
It's like, yeah, well, you should have broke into his barn.
Yeah.
Should have been doing something you were supposed to be doing. That's the difference now is today, parents are like, oh, we're going to sue. Right. Back then, my dad was like, yeah, you're an idiot.
No, the kids say that. The kids say they're going to sue.
I would have got a second beating when I got home. My mom was like, now I'm going to shoot you.
Well, my dad didn't beat me. He just kind of giggled at me and said, well, we'll get that out of there. And he's like digging around with his finger. And I'm like, ah! And he's like, yeah, we'll get that out of there. We don't need to go to the hospital. He made it even worse. I'm like, yeah, I'd rather go to the hospital.
Yeah.
Just like if I would ever got arrested, I would have rather stayed in jail because it would have been way worse getting out.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
All right, well, I'm going home.
That's it?
That's it.
That's it for the return of Heather. Things that go bumpus in the night.
I'm going to contact William, see if he's in town next week, and see if he wants to be on the show or if he's going to be in here. I don't know when he's...
Oh, man, I hope he's in here. Well, if he does come in here, next week is my light week, and we can get some steaks. We can get the barbecue going. We can start early, and then by the time we get to the show, we'll be good and liquored up and go from there. So.
What's a white week?
Huh?
What's a white week?
A light week.
Oh, I was like,
it's a light week. What?
Is that racist? Are you going to have sheets? It's kind of weird. Well, I really thought you said white.
We have one of those secret society meetings down here.
Oh, my word. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you, Heather, for coming in. Thank you so much.
I think that Blanche Magnolia Beauregard should show up for the White Week.
The White Week.
Hello, beautiful people. For those of you who don't know, my name is Blanche Magnolia Beauregard.
Beauregard.
Here we go.
And the Colonel. And the Colonel.
Making us sinners feel bad.
Well, I'll say when I was a colonel in the Confederate Army.
All right.
When you had them blue bellies on the... I'll see you next week, Heather. Thank you very much for stopping by. Big hugs.
Hey, get my suitcase and I'm leaving.
I'm out of here.
Good riddance.
Yeah, that's planned.
Hey, next week, plan on staying to the whole thing. And
when does she ever stay the whole time?
She doesn't. She comes in, she does her stuff. She's like a professional. I want to corrupt her. Because she comes in at the beginning of her segment, she leaves.
But I just come in and drink, and then, yeah.
I just want to... You were talking about corrupting her. I just want to bring up the toga party and leave it at that. I think she has been corrupted.
Did you seriously bring that up?
I could have seriously brought assault charges on that toga party, by the way.
We could all went to jail.
You pissed me off somehow.
I really don't know what he did, though.
I think I just was there. I think I occupied the room. I think that's what I did.
You were in arm's reach.
I guess. I don't know.
That party is what made me quit drinking.
You're welcome. Wait, no, we still have the white trash bash.
White trash? July 3rd.
Oh, white trash? I mean, so White Week, white trash? Is that what it is?
It's a white trash bash.
Okay.
Right before 4th of July. It's not racist. Anybody's.
I know.
But we're making fun of
90% of the stuff that people think is racist isn't.
We're making fun of the Peckerwoods.
Yeah,
making fun of the Peckerwoods. You know, my people.
My people? Your people. Oh, no, I saw them in Michigan.
No, that was my uncle's people.
There's plenty of people.
Yeah, uncle's people.
You have to wear overalls or something really white trashy. I'm wearing a moon.
I mean,
I'm good in my overalls.
I'm Nordic German, so I'm a Viking, and I'm as white as the driven snow. I don't claim to have. Yeah, I'm 168th Cherokee Indian. I don't. No,
I actually
white.
am.
Really? I'm
170th. I'm 116th.
Yeah, whatever. You're freaking German.
I'm German and white.
No,
so
I am actually.
White.
Well, German and white's like redundant.
I'm like whitey white.
I am actually 116th Cherokee Indian. Seriously, with
I'm not.
No like eye.
I'm not of anything.
But I'm black where it counts.
But I eat like I'm Italian.
I drink like I'm German.
So you have a big
booty.
Foot? I don't know.
I thought you were talking about me.
I can't say clever shit 'cause I'm a girl.
I'm bringing booty back.
Although I did get a message on Tinder that said, "Sorry that you're a girl on here." He goes, "I wouldn't be able to handle it." And I was like, "At least someone understands."
Wait, what? Who now?
Being a girl on Tinder. I got a message. The guy was like, "Sorry that you're a girl on here. Like that shit's got to suck. I wouldn't be able to handle it." All the creepy people. I'm like, oh, "Welcome to my life." Bubblegum Princess out.
We come back, we're getting in bed with Dani Blaze. Stick around. I'm Mike Allen. This is the Armed Radio Global Network, and you are on the air.
Hi. Now, I know you hear Joe Rocks on their weekly restaurant reviews on Night Talk, 10 p.m. Eastern. And boy,
These
these
headphones
two like
are
to
louder
eat.
than a
Right,
motherfucker.
boys?
Holy Santa
Well,
Claus
here's
shit.
something to review right from your house. Eat24. That's right, eat24.com. With over 25,000 restaurants for you to choose from when you're hungry. Many in your area. So review that, boys. Eat24.com. Click, order, and eat. Eat24.com.
Are you ready to take your webpage to the next level? Go to icegram.com and download for free all the tools you will need to enhance your webpage content for potential customers, clients, or fans. Capture leads, call your audience to action, skyrocket conversation and engagement with action bars, pop-ups, toast notifications, message boxes, overlays, and sidebars. Head on over to icegram.com for your free download. That's icegram.com. Bottom line, you'll love it.
Is your wife wicked hot? Or is she just cold? Do you just want to take a hot shower? Call Savino Mechanical for all your heating, hot water, and cooling needs. Savino Mechanical has been servicing Greater Boston and Southern New Hampshire for over a quarter century. Quality 24-hour service, reasonable rates, satisfaction guaranteed, licensed and insured. And remember, at Savino Mechanical, we are not comfortable until you are. Call Savino Mechanical today at 1-855-624-4280. That's 1-855-624-4280. Savino Mechanical.
I bought white capris one time because I really wanted them.
Armed Radio Global presents its new 2015 Talk at Night lineup.
Mondays, 8 p.m. Eastern. Spot on with Lino and Tom.
Straight Talk with Matt Hazley. Mondays and Fridays, 10 p.m. Eastern.
On Tuesdays, Talk Time with Val, 8 p.m. Eastern, followed by High Five at 10 p.m. Eastern with Johnny and Mikey.
Wednesdays on the air with Mike Allen, 10 p.m. EST, and Thursdays Night Talk with Joe Rocks, 10 p.m. Eastern.
Join the talk now on Ustream TV. Replays on Spreaker, exclusively on Armed Radio Global.
You stupid bowling shirt.
Night Talk with Joe Rocks, 10 p.m. Eastern, Thursdays, is now on Ustream TV.
You haven't had sex with your
Spreaker for replays and live. On Live 365, exclusively on Armed Radio Global.
Route 106 Motors is the home of fine pre-owned vehicles. Experience a no-pressure sale with a family-friendly
I haven't had sex
atmosphere.
in 24 hours.
Route 106 Motors has been practicing the same simple philosophy of low prices for over a decade, and it has brought us great success.
Oh,
Recently, when
me
other
and him had a
dealers are
thing.
closing their
Oh, that little
doors,
fucker
Route
just
106
texted me.
Motors
That's
is
why I was like, I fucking
expanding.
hate this.
We are a wholesale dealer, and we own the property and pay cash for all the vehicles. This allows us to sell to the consumer for a lot less than the average dealership. We are a high-volume, small-profit dealer, and we pass the savings on to you. New changes have been made at Route 106 Motors. Stop by and check out our brand-new building. Route 106 Motors, located at 569 West Street. Check our website at Route106motors.com and be sure to like us on Facebook to find out about all the latest deals and savings opportunities. Route106motors.com.
Cell, 2G, 2000 watts. Yeah.
In my
It's go time. It's go time. Pink Princess out. It's weird being back in here.
It is weird. It's weird having you back in here.
Is it? It's weird being in bed with me.
That is weird. That would be weird.
It is weird. Before I get into okay. Somehow I got on a deep dark rabbit hole on YouTube today watching Dr. Phil shows. I know, right? Jeez, that was like a dark time in my life earlier today. So, one, I like Dr. Phil. I'm just gonna make that known because he's like, "Hey, you're a stupid head, and can't help you." So I like him because he.
Yeah, how's that working out for you?
He doesn't like baby people. He's just like, "Hey, you're stupid. Fix your life." So I was watching a thing on sugar babies today, and
What's a sugar baby?
the girls that have sugar daddies.
Oh, okay.
So there was two girls that I watched, and both of them, like they have like their sugar baby profile and everything because there's websites for that, where the loaded men can go on there. And I'm on the wrong websites now that I'm thinking about it. Anyway, so they set up a profile just like any other dating site, and then these sugar daddies can go and pick out which one they want. So the two girls.
What site is that?
I don't even. You don't have enough money for a sugar baby.
Shut up. What site is
I'm too
it?
old to be a sugar baby, right?
Huh?
I'm too old to be a sugar baby, right?
I think.
So like sugardaddy.com?
Well, sugardaddy.com is where you find sugar daddies and sugar babies, I believe. I think you can like post profiles on there, and then they can post their profiles, and then you guys can like match up and whatever. So these girls were saying how, they specify on their website that they don't have sex. Not going to have sex, don't do sex, whatever. Yeah, one of them had a guy give her $11,000 in spending money, flew her out to New York, had a $6,000 hotel bill, which I don't know what you're doing at a hotel.
Is it seekingarrangement.com?
That's the one that I think both can post on. Anyways, so
Tell me how
my
profile looks.
These girls are out here
Holy shit.
getting thousands and thousands of dollars, getting crazy gifts. This one girl got $30,000 in a month. In a month. That's more than a lot of people make in a year. And doesn't even have sex with these people. And I was like, I'm really in the wrong.
So
career
none of
field.
these girls that I'm looking at, I went to seekingarrangement.com.
No, not all of them, but some of them
No.
specify that they will not have sex. Won't have sex, won't do none of that. Obviously some of them do have sex, because I feel like most of the time that is, obviously, people think it's like prostitution, because, you're basically having sex for money, kind of. Which is prostitution.
this one puts out, you take care of me, I take care of you.
Well, basically. But some guys...
Baby, I got ones of dollars.
Some guys actually just go on there, pay for a really nice date. I knew a girl that did it. She goes, I just go on a really nice date. Then all of a sudden I have a couple grand in my bank account. She goes, most of them just really need someone to talk to. Or they need arm candy for an
I'm
event,
signing up for this.
Oh, God.
I'm signing up for it right now.
Me too.
I know. I'm telling you, I need to be a sugar baby because this shit is for the birds. You're telling me I could not have sex with these people, get thousands of dollars, and don't have to do shit but be pretty?
You can do that.
I'm telling you, I'll talk slow and be pretty all day. I'll pretend to be...
What'd you say, talk slow?
Talk slow and be pretty.
Are there sugar cougars?
I think at that point you'd be a sugar mama.
I want to be a sugar cougar. Sugar cougar. I can't say it, but I could be it.
A shakougar?
A shakougar.
Shakur.
But, so, I don't know. I feel like, I don't see anything wrong with it. I feel like if these guys have the means and they want to give young hot girls lots of money to pretend to tolerate them, I don't see anything wrong with that. Especially if you don't have to have sex. What kind of crap? I'm living the wrong life. I'm living the wrong life. You're telling me I can get paid thousands of dollars to not have sex with an old man, just listen to him talk? I can fake it all day. Yeah.
Okay,
I love your work
I've
problems.
just created an account.
Oh, God.
What?
For yourself or for Danny?
No, for me.
He's
to
not
be a
worried about
sugar
me.
daddy.
You cannot be a sugar daddy.
I can be a sugar daddy.
You have zero qualifications other than you're old. Some of them are actually young. Some of them are like
I am
early.
old.
Some of them are like
That's
early
like I'm like
30s.
50% there.
Okay, so share your opinion on it. What is your
Well, hold
opinion
on. I got to activate my account.
Oh, God. Okay, so, Joe, what is your opinions on the whole sugar baby thing? Do you think it's morally wrong or whatever?
I think it's probably... No. Do you really want my opinion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
That's why you're a co-host.
That's why I'm talking about it.
So, I dated a guy, and we both laughed about it. And he said, I could totally be a sugar daddy. I was like, I could totally have you be a sugar daddy. But there was something in both of, we really liked each other. We had a lot of fun. He wasn't even that, he was only 10 years older than me. But we had a lot of fun.
What should my net worth be?
$27K, 28.
Well, the lowest it goes is 100,000.
Well, then do that.
Do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Annual
income?
It could happen.
Annual income?
27K.
27, 28. Lowest it goes is 100,000.
You can go with that.
Do that.
Let's go with the minimum on all of them.
I think just go with the minimum, and we don't have to ask so many questions. But it was funny.
What
because,
country should I be from?
Oh my gosh, Ukraine. Aren't you a Viking? Don't they come from the Ukraine?
No. Vikings come
Can
from
we
like
share our
Norway and
opinion?
Sweden. Okay, go ahead.
Okay,
I'm
do
sorry.
that silently,
go ahead.
sir.
I will.
We'll
I
answer
will.
questions on the
So
break.
it was funny because we would have the conversation. We would kind of laugh about it. That he was better off financially than I was, and he enjoyed having me around, but he didn't want a relationship, and we actually ended up not having a long-term relationship, and we didn't have sex, but we had a lot of fun together. We danced and sang and ate dinner
And
and
yippee-ki-yay.
and had a blast. But there was something about it that we both kind of went, no, that's really not. And I think it's exploiting. It's taking something that, this is my opinion, and it sounds a little hoity-toity, and I don't mean to be preachy at all, but this is my opinion. I think it's exploiting something that's so good and can be so good and rare. So to me, the better thing, the harder thing is to work for a good connection with somebody and be willing to go without that until you get it, until it works, than to buy your way into it.
But some of these guys legitimately don't want anything. They don't want to get to know you. They just need someone there when they need to talk and get their feelings out, or when they need to go to an important event and need some sweet arm candy. Most of them don't want anything past that. They just need you to be there if they need you, and then that's it.
Well,
Get laid.
I understand all of that, but at this age, I'm kind of like, you know what, dude, if you can't get your act together enough to have a decent conversation with a woman and find out who she is and what she's about, then your money doesn't really mean anything to me.
It means something if I can just talk to you for an hour and then I get thousands of dollars, yeah. At that point,
then get your counseling license and charge thousands of dollars and only take really sad men. And become the Dr. Felicia.
Dr. Felicia
of
Dr. Pink-Haired Princess.
Yeah.
Well, another thing that I think...
That's what Dr. Phil is doing. You realize that, right?
Yeah.
He's doing the exact same thing.
He's just a sugar daddy.
And as far as we know, he's not having sex with any of those people.
Wouldn't that be a scandal? That'd be we should look into that. See if his wife knows.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know.
So should my budget be negotiable,
Oh
minimal,
my gosh.
practical, moderate, or substantial?
Substantial.
Fuck it.
You want these people to feel like you can actually take care of them. No, but another thing, I obviously am not dating super loaded men that just give me money. Clearly. But I don't know, why would you, if someone is awesome, because Lord knows I can't pretend to like somebody if I don't actually like them.
For more than 24 minutes, 27. Do you think you could last 27 minutes?
I could maybe. I'm going to need a
Pretending
lot
like
of
you like
liquor.
somebody.
A lot of liquor. It's just so hard. I don't see the point in pretending to like somebody, but I feel like I could do that if it was understood, hey, yeah, we can go out and have a nice time, whatever, but I don't want to talk to you after that. Here's your money, roll out. And I'm like, cool.
Don't you kind of do that as a flight attendant, though? You're getting paid a certain amount, and then you have to pretend like you like the people on the plane.
No, you're just do you want to fucking drink or not? And then you can just dip out. You don't have to sit there and chit-chat with them.
So you're going up the ladder on that.
Yeah.
In that
I don't know.
career.
I feel like if that's I don't see a problem with it. Do what you got to do in your life. That's
I agree
great.
with that.
But, it's not that I'm I don't go out like searching for rich men, but like if a rich man was like, "Hey, pretty lady, I want to take you on some dates," I'm not going to say no to that.
Well, then why
Now,
don't you get a millionaire matchmaker?
Because I'm not a millionaire, and
You
I'm
don't
not
have
like
to
a,
be.
and I'm not like a
Gold digger?
yeah. Like if I actually like, I don't know, I couldn't like pretend to date somebody just because they had money. Now, if there was an agreement that that's all it was, then sign me up. But I wouldn't be able to like genuinely just like fake it
You
for
wouldn't
the
be
money.
able to scam a guy.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is you could go out with somebody as long as he understood that you were doing this for financial means.
Yes.
And you would be pleasant and charming, and
I'd be myself.
You would spread your fairy dust all over, with him, and as long as he knew that,
as long as that was the agreement.
That was the agreement, and he knew that you were doing this because there was financial gain. But you're not someone who would date someone because he had money, and in order to manipulate him into getting something.
There's
from
a lot
you.
of ladies looking for sugar daddies in Hutto.
In
Hutto?
Hutto?
Because they're trying to get the hell out of Hutto.
Yeah, we got a 23-year-old here, 22-year-old, 24-year-old, voluptuous.
Anyways.
What?
What are your views on this? Let's say
She has 25 piercings, 4 tats, freckles,
where
and
do
lots
you even
to
get
give.
pierced 25 times?
I don't know. Because I would never.
Down the back. It's like a buttons down.
Well,
the
I would
back
never
thing.
pierce anything there, and I don't think I have enough room for 25 piercings.
I just don't know where on your body you could have 25 piercings.
Okay,
Okay, so let's say that you were, in fact, this profile that you're creating.
Well, I didn't lie. I did not lie, except for a few things. But I didn't lie.
Okay, so let's say this profile was real. This is your
This
real
chick's
life.
got pink hair. April showers.
Would you have a sugar baby? If you had the means.
If I had the means and the money, would I have a sugar baby?
Yes, and if you would, how would you have it? Would you like legitimately try to find someone to date, or would you just be like, hey, I just need someone to...
Yeah. Yeah, and I'd like someone, as a close friend, possibly rent a room out to her. She cooks for me sometimes.
I'm telling you. I need to stop giving my services away for free. You've tasted my pork chops. I could be making...
I'm telling you, those pork chops are killer. They want to beat my head against the wall.
So, would you not...
Here's the thing. Here's where I'm at in my life. Right now, that's the furthest thing from my mind is any relationship at all. But if I could find if these girls are legit, which I don't know if they are or
I've
not.
met a lot. Most of them are top-notch.
If I just want, if we go to one of the functions that we go to, and I've got a nice gal on my arm, because you've got one of your swipe rights with you, and we don't have any.
Whatever.
Fair enough. I wouldn't mind, taking care of her for the evening, and I'm probably not going to drop a couple large in her bank account, but I'd certainly pay for everything she does at night. I mean, I'm not going to.
Champagne bottles for everybody.
You know what I mean?
So basically, you want me, but you'd pay for everything and give her lots of money.
Yeah.
But would you?
Well,
so let's say you wanted to actually financially support somebody for them to be available when you need them for dates, events, when you just need someone to talk to. Let's say you would do that. Would you be wanting to actually find someone to have a genuine relationship with, or would you be one of those guys that's like, hey, I don't need all that drama in my life. I just need you to be here when I need you. Here's money.
Well, first of all, only one of the girls from Hutto is within the age range that has been agreed upon between me and my son.
Your son?
Which is 10 years older than he is. And he's 24, so I can't date anybody less than 34.
Oh, we'd be so married.
Or her and I'd be, we'd be done.
So in love. So in love.
Telling you.
We'd be together forever.
Sometimes.
Or until I kill him for his insurance money.
Sometimes when she's in her room and I'm in my room all the way across the house, it's like we're married.
It's very special. But, I feel like that's got to be kind of nice to be like, hey, I can give you all this money to be available when I need you. Other than that, don't talk to me. I have my life, you have your life.
That's kind of, that'd be kind of a good arrangement, actually.
Right? I see why they do it.
Beck and call.
Because most of them are going through some kind of midlife crisis, or they've been divorced, now they're old and bitter, have all this money, and just need someone pretty to look at. Most of them are my age. Most of them are, college, to like 25, because after that, they were no longer appealing to these men because they were old.
Hey,
I'm being honest. I'm being honest. You can't be a sugar baby.
I could.
You could be a sugar mama
for like a 90-year-old man. I could be a sugar baby.
Do you want to be a sugar baby?
For just I could.
Okay, so let me ask you then.
Okay.
If a guy was like, "Hey, you're awesome. I like hanging out with you."
Oh, that happens all the time.
It's a great. No, well, duh.
Okay, yeah. So yeah,
he has a ridiculous amount of money just flowing out of his ass, basically, and was like, "Hey,
that's a weird.
I would like
medical phenomenon, but go ahead.
I would like to give you a couple grand once a month for like an allowance if you come to a couple of events a month. Come to a couple of events per month with me. I'll take you shopping, treat you to dinner. Other than that, I don't want any kind of relationship with you." He's nice, he's genuine, y'all talk, have a good chemistry, but he doesn't want anything past that. But he's basically paying you to
be his consort.
Sure. We'll call it
It's
that.
consort for men. Men are consorts, right? So essentially, you're talking about a pretty woman situation.
Yes.
Okay.
Would you be Julia Roberts?
I think I'd be a little bit more talented than Julia Roberts, although I do not have a 33-inch leg span. But when I was 24, there was a Frenchman. He was a count. He had a castle in the Pyrenees. He had an apartment in New Orleans. He sent two men. I was 24 and adorable because most women are, and he sent two men to meet me and say, "We have someone who would like to take you to dinner, and we are his envoys." And we went to dinner, and he was a very wealthy man, very wealthy, very well educated. He had Renoirs on his walls, and he'd pick me up, and I would be still putting my lipstick on, and we would stop, and he'd say, "Oh, I need to buy that Cadillac," and he'd drop $40,000 on a Cadillac, and then we'd drive to Houston, and he'd drop another $40,000 on a painting. He was very, very wealthy. And I was very, very not wealthy. And I was 24, working as a waitress. And I had good childbearing hips and a beautiful face.
See, that's what I'm missing. I'm missing the hips.
And I say that about the hips because he actually looked like...
But you got the legs.
Yeah, you do have the legs. He was 40. He looked like Henry Kissinger. He looked like Henry Kissinger's good-looking brother. He was actually a very attractive man in a lot of ways. But he'd lost a child and divorced the mother and was looking for a woman with good childbearing hips. I mean, he was looking for a breeder, And he never said that, but it became apparent to me. And honestly, I left. I left the country. I said, "I'm going to Cancun for the weekend," and I left and stayed. I moved to Cancun. I went to Cancun and stayed. And the reason I did that was because it was so tempting to have money flowing around me all the time when I did not. And I just knew that I would never want to marry for love. He was a fascinating individual. He trained as a medical student, and then he was...
But he wasn't what you wanted it. He wasn't who you wanted to wake up to 50 years from then.
I didn't even think 50 years ahead of time. I just knew there was something in me that could and would only marry for love. That's just who I am. I know that I would not. I'm not a gold digger.
I'm just not good at acting. I couldn't fake it.
The thing is, I'm an excellent actress.
You could have faked it too.
I could have faked it until
packed a bunch away into an account.
I could have faked it until he fell off the mountain behind the castle. I mean, I really could have.
Until he fell off.
But, I mean,
he unfortunately tripped and fell.
I tried to catch him, but my nails were still wet.
I mean, I just, but there's something in me that I don't. I'm too genuine, I guess is the word that comes to mind. I'm just like, if I say that I care about you, I genuinely care about you. I don't fake it. I don't, And part of that's because I value the people that care about me genuinely enough, that truly care about me, that I just couldn't do that. So I just told him, I'm going to Mexico for the weekend.
And then you just never went back.
That's kind of an awesome story, actually. You should write a book about that.
Well, the thing that's kind of really funny about it is I ended up going to Mexico and marrying an American down there while I was down there. In the middle of a river called Love. But that's another story for another time and place. But so I've had that, and tremendous amount of money and attention and men and blah, 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 blah. Because
you don't
I
have
was
to rub it in our face.
because I was young. I was young and beautiful, and that's and that's older men wanted that.
You're like a Corvette that hasn't been on the market yet. They all want it.
But the thing that was weird about it was that none of them knew me. I mean, none of them. They didn't want to know who I was.
No, they don't give a shit. They're just
Exactly.
pretty for money.
Yeah, exactly. And I, as totally screwed up as I was at that time, and actually, was until about 20 maybe 22 months ago, instinctively I knew that I had more value than that. And it kind of made me mad that I mean, it was very flattering, but at the same time, it was like, there's so much more to me than that. So
that's like when I got solicited for sex, for money, like a prostitute. I was like, I don't know if I should be offended or if I should be complimented that you think people pay to have sex with me.
Right.
I don't know. I'm at a point that I could be a sugar baby if it was either one, I actually genuinely cared about that person and had interest in them, or two, it was defined as, hey, I just need you for these certain times, here's money.
But the first one isn't even being a sugar baby.
No, then I would just be like lucky as fuck.
It's like being a friend with somebody who's very generous.
Yeah. So, I guess, sugar baby-wise, I could only do it if it was known and open that there was no... I didn't have to pretend to like him. We just had a good time and went our separate ways until the next time. I wish I could be a gold digger, man. I'd be a good one. I'm not going to have these awesome legs forever. But anyway, so that's what I did today on the internet.
I would have been a great gold digger if I had...
No soul.
No heart or soul or conscience. Or brains.
Hey. I felt like
Take us into a break, Danny.
We're going to go on break now. And then we'll be back to get back into bed with me. I feel like there's a lot of people in my bed right now. I don't know how comfortable it is. It's getting too hot.
Am I the third wheel?
You're the third wheel.
I'm leaving.
No. I think Sir Mix-a-Lot over there on his sugar daddy profile is the third wheel of this one.
Mister, I'm worth $100,000. Cougarans.
100,000 pennies.
Hi, now I know you hear Joe Rocks on their weekly restaurant reviews on Night Talk, 10 p.m. Eastern. And boy, these two like to eat. Right, boys? Well, here's something to review right from your house. Eat24. That's right, Eat24.com. With over 25,000 restaurants for you to choose from when you're hungry. Many in your area. So review that, boys. Eat24.com. Click, order, and eat. Eat24.com.
Are you ready to take your webpage to the next level? Go to icegram.com and download for free all the tools you will need to enhance your webpage content for potential customers, clients, or fans. Capture leads, call your audience to action, skyrocket conversation and engagement with action bars, pop-ups, toast notifications, message boxes, overlays, and sidebars. Head on over to icegram.com for your free download. That's icegram.com. Bottom line, you'll love it.
Is your wife wicked hot? Or is she just cold? Do you just want to take a hot shower? Call Savino Mechanical for all your heating, hot water, and cooling needs. Savino Mechanical has been servicing Greater Boston and Southern New Hampshire for over a quarter century. Quality 24-hour service, reasonable rates, satisfaction guaranteed, licensed and insured. And remember, at Savino Mechanical, we are not comfortable until you are. Call Savino Mechanical today at 1-855-624-4280. That's 1-855-624-4280. Savino Mechanical.
Armed Radio Global presents its new 2015 Talk at night lineup.
Mondays, 8 p.m. Eastern. Spot On with Lino and Tom.
Straight Talk with Matt Hazley. Mondays and Fridays, 10 p.m. Eastern.
On Tuesdays, Talk Time with Val, 8 p.m. Eastern, followed by High Five at 10 p.m. Eastern with Johnny and Mikey.
Wednesdays on the air with Mike Allen, 10 p.m. EST, and Thursdays Night Talk with Joe Rocks, 10 p.m. Eastern.
Join the talk now on Ustream TV. Replays on Spreaker. Exclusively on Armed Radio Global.
Night Talk with Joe Rocks, 10 p.m. Eastern, Thursdays, is now on Ustream TV. Spreaker for replays and live. On Live 365, exclusively on Armed Radio Global.
Route 106 Motors is the home of fine pre-owned vehicles. Experience a no-pressure sale with a family-friendly atmosphere. Route 106 Motors has been practicing the same simple philosophy of low prices for over a decade, and it has brought us great success. Recently, while other dealers are closing their doors, Route 106 Motors is expanding. We are a wholesale dealer, and we own the property and pay cash for all the vehicles. This allows us to sell to the consumer for a lot less than the average dealership. We are a high-volume, small-profit dealer, and we pass the savings on to you. New changes have been made at Route 106 Motors. Stop by and check out our brand-new building. Route 106 Motors, located at 569 West Street. Check our website at route106motors.com, and be sure to like us on Facebook to find out about all the latest deals and savings opportunities. route106motors.com.
Sell 2G, 2000 watts. Yeah, yeah. Every meeting in my bedroom.
Welcome back. Write me a script. You yell at me for this every time. Anyways, we're back from commercial. It's amazing.
And who's our sponsor?
Eat24.com. It's like having a food truck in your pants. You can order them anywhere at any time, and they'll bring the food to you instead of rushing out the door on your lunch break. Boom.
Who else?
I don't really know.
Centex Computer.
Centex Computer. Oh, that guy's really nice. Yeah, he fixes computers. Hit him up. So, the curse of the strong, independent woman. One, I want to bring up a side thing that kind of has something to do with this, but not really. Why is it a strong, independent black woman that don't need no man? Why can't it be a strong, independent white woman that don't need no man? Why? Because if I said that, it'd be racist.
Are you asking me?
Yeah. Why can only strong, independent
because
black women not need
independent
a
white
man?
women aren't as scary as independent black women?
I don't know. Can be.
You can be.
You did tell me I look like a baby. I remind you of a baby rattlesnake when I'm mad. So.
Yeah, you do.
Super cute and adorable until it kills you. My fist of fury. Anyways, curse of the strong, independent.
But I know your weakness.
Cupcakes.
Baby cows.
And fuck, I love those damn things. I love them.
Baby cows.
So, I was actually watching a movie on Hallmark the other day. Don't judge me. I can't even talk. Oh, God. It's wedding month, okay? I have to watch all the movies on there. Basically, there was a lady on there, and she kind of reminded me of myself a little bit in certain things she did in the movie. So, basically, she's like, I have all these successful relationships, and then all of a sudden these guys just leave. Like, it's growing, everything's going great, we're having a great time together, and then all of a sudden they just break up with me. So, she goes back and hunts down all of her exes and basically asks them, why wasn't I the one you married? Everything was going so great. And they're like, she came off too cold and not very caring, and they're like, we never felt like you needed us. Like, when we broke up with you, you didn't fight for it, nothing. You just said okay, and then we carried on our way. So I feel like why a lot of strong, independent women, because Lord knows I'm opinionated and I'm not easily housebroken, but I feel like the reason why is because men need to feel like men. And I'm not saying that as in women need to stop being strong and stop being independent. I don't feel that at all. But I see why that comes off as not caring and not... I don't want to say loving. That sounds shitty.
Vulnerable?
Yeah. So I think it's men need to be men. And I don't feel like anyone should change for that, but I feel like women need to take that into consideration, especially when they're very strong, because everyone wants to... I read a quote today, it was... What did it say? It was like, people who feel appreciated are more likely to do more than you expect them to do. Because if you don't feel appreciated, that's what usually breaks up a lot of relationships. You don't feel like you're cared for, you don't feel like you're appreciated. So when you're so strong all the time, and so independent all the time, you're not going to have a successful relationship, and that goes for men or women. But women, of course, have more of a... It's more socially unacceptable for a woman to be strong and independent. Just like in the corporate world, everyone's like, oh, that guy's an ass, but he's making lots of money. If a girl acted the same way, there's a negative way to it, especially because women are supposed to be soft and caring and motherly and loving. So I don't feel like a lot of men know how to interpret that other than, oh, I guess she doesn't care about me kind of thing. And I've been told, because I'm so like, I'll make the first move, I'll approach you, I'll talk all day. Men, this is what I've been told from guys. Lord knows I'm no specialist, but I've been told that comes off as, like, they don't ever get the chance to be a man.
They don't have room.
They don't. Yeah, I'm taking the male and the female part, and they don't have a chance to almost be part of the relationship, because I'm just like, I don't need you. I'm like a cat. Put food in my bowl. I'll pet me when I want it. Other than that, leave me alone.
Change my litter box.
Yeah, other than that, leave me alone.
What do you want?
But I can see why that comes off as not caring. I've been told recently that I'm not good at expressing my feelings in a nice way, I guess. I don't know. I know I come off very cold sometimes because I'm just like, well, I don't care. Because I'm not going to waste my time on stuff. But that's not a good way to have a healthy relationship with, like, good communication, when you just kind of shut it down. You're just like, nope, get that corn out of my face. So I can see why that can hinder me in dating, because I don't care, and I'll be the man. You're not my thing is, men get so nervous, especially when you're a beautiful, strong woman. That's very intimidating to a man, because they're like, no one likes to be rejected, but I feel like men, for the most part, take rejection. They're more afraid of rejection.
I think men are kind of funny. I think one of the things I love about men is that they go after women that are so completely out of their league, and they're just like, I love that about men. I love the fact that men, even though they kind of expect rejection, and they don't take it well all the time, but they still are like, I'm going for it. I'm going in. And their friends are like, go, go, go. We'll put it on the, on the nerd forum. All the guys in the nerd forum are rooting for you. And they're like, I'm going in, I love that about men. I love that initiative that men take. And I think one of the things that you talked about is that men, and Mike, you can chime in if I'm wrong, but I think men like to take the initiative, and sometimes strong women don't give them the room to do that.
Like, I'm not going to wait.
I can't really comment on that, because ever since I've been single, since 2009, the string of women that I have been associated with have been batshit crazy. So I don't have any strong women to really compare that with, because they all had agendas, and I didn't fit the agenda eventually, and they couldn't change me to fit their agenda, so they tossed me out. And I guess I'm a strong man, and the fact that I'm, if I enter into a relationship with a woman, I'm pretty much like, this is me.
Right.
And if you don't like this, then we're probably not going to get along.
And that story right there is also why I feel like us strong women kind of get a bad rap, because I think guys are actually waiting for us to all of a sudden just be crazy. Guys always say, I would date my guy best friend if he was a woman. Well, I've been told I'm too bro, so do you want to have a guy girl? Like a girl with a more guy? I don't think I can see why. I see where people take my personality and how I come off as very not dateable. I'm not always the most approachable person. And then when I feel like I'm like a tiger. If I see it, I'm hunting. I'm hunting for that. And I don't have a problem approaching that. So, one, I take away their opportunity to
do the
hunt
hunting
me
themselves, yeah.
and to be the bringing home the bacon kind of thing. And then whenever they do date me, I'm not this over-emotional, over-dramatic, love me, love me, love me, love me, love me, get rid of your whole life and just focus all on me kind of person. And I think they almost wait for that because that's kind of how a lot of women are. Just like your crazy streak.
Yeah. Well, I guess from a man's point of view, I think we are looking for that one woman that just wants to be friends. And I think that's important now is any relationship that I enter into. Before I enter into it, we're going to be friends. Because friends treat each other better than couples. Because once it gets the couple tag on it, then all of a sudden it's a never-ending series of proving to each other how much you love each other and falling short, and that builds up a resentment, and then the resentment builds up into animosity, and then eventually it's just like, well, you know, I loved you the way you were when we first met. It's like, well, I ain't changed. I don't know what the hell changed here, but, you know, I'm still the same guy. But, you know, couples do that stuff. Well, in my experience, I always get the, well, did you see what so-and-so did for his wife? Yeah. How come you don't do that stuff for me? Well, you know, I do other stuff. Well, name one. Well, see, I'm not the type of guy that categorizes everything and remembers every little single thing I've ever done for my
women, the women at their book club.
Yeah. So if you
not all
and that's another thing about me that I totally lose patience with. I don't remember everything, but I remember things that happened. Does that make sense?
No.
I get what you're saying.
Okay, you know what I'm saying? I remember that.
You remember that we went to
things happened.
That place we went to. Where
but
did we go?
You don't remember that she was wearing a yellow dress on last
Or
Wednesday
I don't remember
at
the
2
exact details.
Right.
But most
of
men
what
don't.
happened.
Men think differently.
Or when it happened, or what day it happened. And every argument I've ever gotten in with a woman, it's like, you know, I'll make a statement. Well, you know, it's like you did this. Well, when did I do that? Well, I don't remember exactly when or what the circumstance. I just remember it happened. Well, what day was it? I don't know. And I have to come up with the exact time, date, and circumstance, or else it's not valid.
Well, why aren't you addressing it when it's happening?
Boom.
Well, it's because then I'd be addressing shit 24 hours a day, all day long. There's just some things that I just let roll off my back.
Mm-hmm. But I think you and me had a conversation about this.
Later on, when something's thrown in my face, it's like, well, hold on now. You can't stand in this position because this happened. Well, when did that happen? You know what I'm saying?
See, that goes back. Friends fight back. I agree with you about
but
the
friends let that shit go.
Well, and also friends
where couples
fight,
don't.
But also friends fight more fair.
True.
Friends fight more fair. Friends say, I'm fighting for us. I'm not trying to win. I'm trying to get to the other side. There's a sense of reconciliation with friends.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to waste any downtime fighting.
Well, here's the perfect example.
They will.
Here's to me, this is what friendship is. Friends, when you fall off a ladder, will help you up.
Mm-hmm.
True friends will laugh at you, take pictures, then help you up.
Right.
And tell you how stupid you are. That's a true friend, and that's what I'm looking for in a relationship, is somebody that's not going to be...
funny of you when you fall off.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, but not get into a situation and.
But I think the reason why is because friends, no matter what you do, if you have a bad day, if you mess up, your friend is not going to judge you off of that. Your friend is going to be like, "Hey, ha ha ha, whatever. Let's move past this." I'll probably bring it up every once in a while, funny, but friends don't judge you for every fault that you have, and I feel like a lot of couples.
That's all they do. That's all they do.
Yeah.
That's all they do.
I feel like...
And they hold it, and especially in a couple situation, women hold stuff to use for later. They use it for ammunition. It's almost like they bank it, and they put it in a bank.
I know we have to go to break, but when we come back, can we talk about friendship again, please?
Yes, we can.
Attention World of Tank gamers. Armed and its affiliated divisions are recruiting entire clans and tankers. Armed, the largest and most progressive gaming community on the World of Tanks gaming platform. Now on 3 servers. To join, visit www.armedtanks.net or hashtag need a toaster. Toast that, bitches.
Hi! Now I know you hear Joe Rocks on their weekly restaurant reviews on Night Talk, 10 p.m. Eastern. And boy, these two like to eat. Right, boys? Well, here's something to review right from your house. Eat24. That's right, Eat24.com. With over 25,000 restaurants for you to choose from when you're hungry. Many in your area. So review that, boys. Eat24.com. Click, order, and eat. Eat24.com.
Are you ready to take your webpage to the next level? Go to icegram.com and download for free all the tools you will need to enhance your webpage content for potential customers, clients, or fans. Capture leads, call your audience to action, skyrocket conversation and engagement with action bars, pop-ups, toast notifications, message boxes, overlays, and sidebars. Head on over to icegram.com for your free download. That's icegram.com. Bottom line, you'll love it.
Is your wife wicked hot? Or is she just cold? Do you just want to take a hot shower? Call Savino Mechanical for all your heating, hot water, and cooling needs. Savino Mechanical has been servicing Greater Boston and Southern New Hampshire for over a quarter century. Quality 24-hour service, reasonable rates, satisfaction guaranteed, licensed and insured. And remember, at Savino Mechanical, we are not comfortable until you are. Call Savino Mechanical today at 1-855-624-4280. That's 1-855-624-4280. Savino Mechanical.
Armed Radio Global presents its new 2015 Talk at Night lineup.
Mondays 8 p.m. Eastern. Spot on with Lino and Tom.
Straight Talk with Matt Hazley. Mondays and Fridays 10 p.m.
Eastern, followed by High Five at 10 p.m. Eastern with Johnny and Mikey.
Wednesdays on the air with Mike Allen, 10 p.m. EST, and Thursdays Night Talk with Joe Rocks, 10 p.m. Eastern.
Join the talk now on Ustream TV. Replays on Spreaker, exclusively on Armed Radio Global.
Night Talk with Joe Rocks. 10 p.m. Eastern, Thursdays, is now on Ustream TV. Spreaker for replays and live. On Live 365, exclusively on Armed Radio Global.
Route 106 Motors is the home of fine pre-owned vehicles. Experience a no-pressure sale with a family-friendly atmosphere. Route 106 Motors has been practicing the same simple philosophy of low prices for over a decade, and it has brought us great success. Recently, while other dealers are closing their doors, Route 106 Motors is expanding. We are a wholesale dealer, and we own the property and pay cash for all the vehicles. This allows us to sell to the consumer for a lot less than the average dealership. We are a high-volume, small-profit dealer, and we pass the savings on to you. New changes have been made at Route 106 Motors. Stop by and check out our brand new building. Route 106 Motors, located at 569 West Street. Check our website at route106motors.com and be sure to like us on Facebook to find out about all the latest deals and savings opportunities. route106motors.com.
Cell 2G 2000 watts. Yeah.
You spank it, we bank it. How will we help you? I want to make a deposit. Every time I say that to my mom, she orders pizza. It's weird. I don't know how to feel about that. All right, do you want to say your... Can I say mine before I, forget it? So what you were saying, how women are like, oh, if you don't remember every single detail, then it's not valid. I feel like a lot of women, me and Joe talked about this the other day, men and women think completely differently. Women want to force a man to think like them, although a man is not capable of thinking. We have two different mindsets.
Mm-hmm. We're not detail-oriented, and we can handle a lot more pressure because we don't
overthink every small thing.
Every little thing. We compartmentalize things better, and we have a little box, and we put that in a box, and we put that box over there, and we'll think about it when it's time to think about it.
And I feel like that's where... I think that's maybe what throws guys off. Because you know me pretty damn well. And for the most part, I tend to think more like that. I'm more like, this is what happened, this is a solution, this is a compromise, agree to disagree, whatever. And I think that throws men off because I'm not necessarily thinking like a woman. So then they're like, well, what am I supposed to do here? It's like, it has boobs. Why is it not freaking out over stupid shit? So I think that's what throws off a lot of why I get told I'm too bro. You know, if I want to drink whiskey with the boys, I don't feel like that makes me too bro. So I think when you're a strong woman, men don't necessarily know how to process that, is the fact that you're still a caring, loving woman, because you're not necessarily acting how they think a woman is, in my opinion. And based on what I've been told about my brash and over boisterous opinion that I constantly share when people don't want it.
Well, part of that too is how are you making... a lot of that has to do with how do you make a man feel about himself.
I feel like I'm very encouraging and I'm very complimentary, and I feel like I show that I care about you and that I appreciate you and I like what you do and I love having you in my life. But on the flip side, I'm also the complete opposite of that. I'm also very... don't be around me 24/7 and have your own life. I have.
Well,
my
I think
life.
guys your age that you're dating
are stupid. Well, that's
expect that clingy drama. You know, tell me I'm pretty. What are you thinking? What's wrong? You know, it seems like to me that just in watching people
watching the train wrecks,
just watching the thing. What guys expect is when they enter into a relationship with a woman or girl, after the initial giddy, oh my god, oh my gosh, she's so hot, I'm having sex, that inevitably it will be the what's wrong, nothing, drama, you know, you never understand me. And then that's a
disclaimer I make right out the
Then
gate.
they have a little bit of a drama, and then they make up. And that makeup portion, that oh baby, you know I love you and this and that, you know who you talking to on Facebook or who you talking to?
Who cares? Who cares?
Exactly.
Who cares?
And you're blowing these guys away because it's like, well, how come she's not acting like every other 24-year-old girl?
Apparently, that makes me come off as though I don't care. Because I'm not...
Well, you don't, because it's irrelevant.
Well, I don't care about the stupid stuff, but I have been told that makes it seem like I don't care if they're around. I don't care. But that's not a good way to show someone you care about them. Showing someone that you care about them is like, hey, come over for dinner tonight. I'm making your favorite meal. Or, hey, send a random text. I'm thinking about you. Hope work's going good. All that crazy shit is a very negative...
It's crazy shit.
...way to have... That's not a positive relationship. Friendship-wise, relationship-wise, anything.
That's what I was saying about the whole sugar baby thing, is that to me, it's like... I was talking to someone the other day about singing, and he said, you know, you can... He said, you can do this, or you can start writing your own songs and writing your own music. He goes, it's a... And this is what he said. This is his phrase. He said, it's a longer road to get to success. And I think that's the thing, is that we live in an instantaneous society. Our oatmeal is instant. Our sitcoms are instant. Everything.
Our dating is instant.
Our dating is, oh my gosh, you know, everything is so instant. And the reality is that a healthy, good, solid, long-term, rich, and satisfying relationship is a long-term thing. It takes time. It takes time to know who you are. It takes time to know who they are. It takes time to learn how to communicate. It takes time. It takes an investment of time. It takes an investment of giving each other space sometimes when you really want to go ahead and get this thing figured out. I mean, it just is, and it's unreal. We live in a society that has fed us an entire laundry list of really unbelievable expectations.
No one's stopping to smell the roses. They're just going to the store and buying.
Well, and along that lines, that's fed by mainstream
Hallmark.
media and Hallmark.
Hey, I love that channel. I love that channel.
But it's fed by the unrealistic
Right.
portrayal of relationships in movies and TV.
Right.
In my opinion.
Yeah,
Because the only true, believe it or not, the only true representation was in a movie. It was a comedy movie, and Couples? Was it Couples? Where they had the people that went to the retreat, married
I think
couple.
it was called like Couples Retreat or something.
Couples
like that.
Retreat, yeah, Couples Retreat. That was it. With the two actors in there were a married couple. Vince Vaughn was one of them, and then the gal that was with him.
I don't remember.
I can't remember her name.
I didn't see the film,
but I remember what he was saying. And when she says, "Well, we got all these problems," he says, "You're right. We have thousands of problems.
Mm-hmm.
We got kids. We got this and that. But you know what? We're in it together." And that was the only real portrayal. Because women have an expectation of the fairy tale. They want a man that's going to wait on them hand and foot. They got a man that's going to be there. They got a man that's going to buy them roses and flowers every single day because that's what they see portrayed on the movies. And guys, I hate to say it, guys, but our expectations of couples are driven by porn.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We want a woman that's going to satisfy us sexually, and basically, when we're not having sex or
on
we're
her
not
head,
doing
standing
stuff,
on her head.
Don't leave me alone.
With a perfect non-cellulite body.
Right.
Then leave me alone. Here's the joke that I use is I wish I could find a woman that greets me, like my dog greets me when I come home. Mm-hmm. I mean the whole thing, jumping on me, scratching me, licking my face, and then I feed her and she leaves me alone.
Right. I hope that works out for you.
I don't think that's ever going to happen. But
am
I making sense?
I understand, but but here's,
guys don't want to have to try to live up to that every single day. It's tiring. We just want to be left alone.
This is what I wanted to talk about because you touched on it, you said it, and I've thought about this a lot. The older I've gotten, my understanding of marriage has completely done a 180 or a flip-flopped or whatever. I've been married twice. I loved both of the men. They loved me. Did not marry them for money, married them for love. They were wonderful men, and I didn't know the first thing about how to be a good wife. I wasn't a bad wife, but I certainly was a bad wife. So the deal is but what I did not know is how to be friends with men. And then I separated and was separated for a while. And while I was separated, I worked in the male-dominated industry, and I worked with 6 men. And they all had 6 different personalities, and I learned how to be friends with men. And now I cannot wait to get married. It's going to be a blast because I've learned to appreciate men. I've learned to talk to men. I've learned what is an appropriate expectation of a man and what is a really stupid expectation. I've learned a lot about myself, obviously. But what the main thing that I've learned is that if I can be a friend to the man I marry, if I can be his friend, his companion, his bro, and his hot mama, which we know I got that down, right?
Solid.
But if I can do that and be truly his friend and treat him with the same respect and love and fun and lightheartedness,
and then, pardon my French, fuck him like a slut,
and that I do with my other. I was trying to be a Southern belle ladylike about it, and like
Southern belle.
And
she's from Germany,
and do a little bit of a euphemism.
I cut straight to the chase.
And but and do that, then I'm not worried about getting married again, and I'm not worried because I've learned how to be friends with men. I've had some now. At this stage, I've had some long-term friendships with guys, and to me, marriage is we should be teaching 24-year-olds how to be friends with the opposite sex, whether you're a male or a female. How to be friends with the opposite sex. Because if you can be friends with the opposite sex, you can build a good marriage and a good family. Because guess what? You need to figure out how to be friends with your kids. You need to figure out how to be friends with your in-laws. You need to figure out how to be friends, to teach your kids to be friends with each other.
You need to learn how to be friends with your kids after they are grown and gone out of the house.
I agree with that. Yeah.
When they're in the house and you're raising them, they're not your friends.
Right. But you're still building a friendship with them. You're in the even as a parent, you're still building a friendship.
With my foot dead up in their ass.
Well, yeah, but you're doing it in such a way that it's like, dude, I love you, and my foot's going to stay here
until you graduate.
Until you graduate,
exactly.
And then we're going to have a ball.
I don't pay fees, I don't pay fines, and I don't pay bail.
Yeah. So, but you know what I'm saying? I mean, there's a way to build a relationship with your kids that's not antagonistic, and I fully believe that. Marriage if I were to marry today, I'm not saying I wouldn't marry for love. Obviously, I would marry for love, but if we didn't have a strong friendship, then what would be the point?
Money.
All right, back to the sugar bat because I'm a sugar cougar.
Yeah,
sugar cougar, a sugar
cougar,
a sugar. Another thing, also, I have realized is that. Not only do I have a very boisterous personality, and I'm very self-confident in myself, I know I don't know what I want per se.
You're such a shy little flower.
I'm just a little flower on the wall. I know everything I don't want.
Timid.
I know what I will gladly compromise on, but I know things that I will not. If we can't come to an agreement, then we're not. We can be friends all fucking day, but if we can't both come to a conclusion to either agree or agree to disagree. I don't see why couples yell at each other. I get that you get hot and heavy, blah, blah, but why don't you remove yourself from the situation and then talk about it like two functioning adults in the world? I don't yell. If you're going to sit there and yell, I'm not going to listen to you because you're just going to piss me off and then I'm going to say some really fucked up shit to you that I will not apologize for because I don't apologize for stuff that I say.
Fatal stuff.
Yeah, and it's just so detrimental. So I know I can step back and be like, hey, give me 5 minutes. I'm going to calm down. You calm down however long you need, and then we'll talk about it. But I have found out that in my dating, this whole not perfect uterus that I carry in this little body of mine, that has actually been an issue.
Really?
Won't even go on a first date issue. I'm like, whoa, dude, you don't even know how I'm, operating mentally. I had one guy, he was like, don't show me your interests, show me your medicine cabinet so I know what I'm getting into. Which I thought was phenomenal because, bitches are crazy. But I found out, and I went through a lot emotionally and mentally when I started going through all this because, not to be misogynistic, but I am a woman. That is what my body is made to do, and I can't do that. I got over it. I probably need a sugar daddy for all the fertility treatments and whatever and adoption fees, but that's a really big issue. And I never thought that was going to be because most of the guys that I encounter are stupid and just want to hook up or they're ready to be married yesterday. So
and have a perfect family.
And have a perfect white picket fence family like my aunt does. So that's another issue that I did not think I'd come into. So not only am I a strong, independent woman, but I'm also not bearing children. So I'm a dude. Oh my god, I'm a dude with boobs. I am a dude with ladies' boobs.
Well, we have just figured out the secret to Dani Blaze. She's a dude.
I'm a chick.
I'm a princess.
I'm a pink princess.
The pink princess is
Cup.
Dude looks
Pink
like a lady.
The cupcake princess.
Oh jeez.
All right, we'll be back next week. Thanks for joining us today. Thank you very much for Marlon Vela for joining us. Go ahead.
I said, check out our website. I've been trying.
Yeah, Dani took over the website duty. www.ontheairwithmikeallen.com. Go check it out for all our previous shows. This show will be posted, plus all the links to all the other pages and personalities for Armed Radio Global. For Dani Blaze, Joe Ellen, Things That Go Bumpous in the Night, Heather, I'm Mike Allen. We'll see you again next week, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on Armed Radio Global.